Don't be sad that it's over. Just be happy that we had it. Best ball summer drawing to a close. One last time this best ball draft season, myself and Tyler here to draft in BBM. And depending on how many likes we get, depending on what the people want, maybe we'll keep drafting. It's up to you guys. You decide. Tyler, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. It's Labor Day. You know, we got a little bit of pool, a little bit of sun, a little bit of booze, a little bit of pulled pork and smoked chicken. It's a good day. How about you, Tom? How's it going?
Well, I've been at work. No holiday over here. But, you know, we had last Monday off. So, yeah, it swings and roundabouts. Last Monday, I cooked ribs and had a pretty quiet one. So,
those ribs did look good. If you did not see Tom's ribs on Twitter, by the way,
I've got to expand my barbecue repertoire and start doing a bit more, I think. But that's a problem for another time. How are you feeling about the end of best ball summer?
You know what? It's been up, it's been down, but all in all, I don't think I have any complaints. You know, I did a BBM exposures check-in through 40 something about a week ago, and I was like, you know, I'm only seeing like 2 real weak spots, you know, right now, and then one of those weak spots kind of looking a little bit better with Darnell Mooney doing some practice jog through stuff. So, and then even that weak spot, you know, it's a live roster spot. So how weak truly can it be? So all in all, feeling okay. You know, I think the process has been as good as you can get with all this stuff going on. And you know what? I gotta say, you and I think we played it really well with a lot of these takes full year, Tom. I gotta give us a pat on our own back.
Yeah, I think we did a good job balancing things and not getting too caught up. Like last year, it felt very much like we kind of fell into these are our guys and we're going to take them every single time.
Right.
Now, we probably have a bit more Marshawn Lloyd than we like, but
well, you know,
I mean,
what are you going to do? Some mistakes you need to make every year, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be right back here next year making that same mistake again. But in general, yeah, I feel like player takes this year have been pretty good. I think like I was going through my exposures last week and I felt quite pleased with some. I think the one that kind of surprised me the most is I had a bit more Tyreek Hill than I expected. And I think more of that is from earlier in the draft season, but also just assuming that the Dolphins are going to be so terribly bad on defense that they'll play a lot. But if I could go back and move a few percent from Tyreek over to Jalen Waddle, I'd be a bit happier. Who's one player that you wish you had more of?
Well, you know, I looked because someone brought it up in the Discord 2 days ago. I realized I'm only at the field on Trey McBride. You know, both of us being a fan of him, but I realized I was doing a lot of like ceiling chasing and also just like pick variants, like where I'm getting a lot of my picks. And with him kind of falling, I feel like maybe I have a little less of him than I'd like just because he is such a clear target for a lot of reasons. But I still maintain that, you know, going after some of the nuclear ceiling guys at wide receiver, given the way this contest is, I feel okay about it. I wish I had more Egbuka. I have a lot, but I feel like we loved him in pre-draft. We liked him a lot, and we're buying a lot of him in the 120s, 100s, and 90s. But as he rose, it got hard to like pinpoint where exactly I was going to be able to get him. And then I just started having to buy in the early 5th round in order to get him. And he's got such a clear, just a clear pathway in so many ways. And as a rookie that, you know, he's a guy I wish I had like 20% of, because this just feels such a clear bet for a strong breakout. And it leaves me wishing I had more, but you know, I've got a lot, so it's hard to complain.
Yeah, my most drafted wide receiver is a 3-way tie between Jalen Coker, obviously not amazing vibes, Josh Downs and Drake London, all set at 24%. And I'm a little surprised I got quite much Drake London. Like, it was a situation because I maxed the drafters sort of stuff that I could. And then I went to FFPC, where because the drafts are more expensive, you feel like you've got a good gauge on what you're getting. And it was only a few weeks ago I kind of checked in on it, and it's like, okay, but still, Drake London, if I'm going to make a bet on someone, I'll make it on him. Rob, how are you still alive, my man?
How are you not taking the world's longest nap? Are you a robot? I think we found the first best ball robot, Tom. My God.
Yeah, shout out to Rob. Like, I had a busy weekend, so I didn't get to catch any of it live, which is quite something considering he was up for 36 hours. But you joined Rob last night, didn't you, for a little bit?
Yeah, I helped him close out the second to last hour to get it across and like a true legend, he wanted to do the final hour solo and just to clear it all out and 36 hours, new live fantasy and best ball record, fairly certain.
That's incredible and just horrible at the same time. So shout out Rob. So where are you at, like, draft numbers wise? I know you've been a bit lower volume than last year. Obviously, I'm definitely lower volume with no DraftKings this year. I think I'm closing it out at somewhere around 190.
Well, doing some quick maths, it's looking like something like closer to 800 this year than pushing to 1,000 on Underdog. I did probably between 20 to 40 on DraftKings, and then the drafters pre-draft and whatever. So like volume might be close to last year in totality when I thought I was doing less, but I feel like I bucketed it better this time around. I feel like I felt like it was if even if I didn't do necessarily a lot less volume this year, I think it was a lot more purposeful volume and it's at least I feel less dead. Like I'm ready to start the season. I'm ready for real football, just a few short days away from Thursday night football. But I'm definitely not like sick of drafting. I think I'm a little tired of it because I'm not seeing anything new, but I feel like
you found the balance.
Yeah. You know what? We did it. My wife's not going to like to hear that, 900 drafts was the sweet spot, but,
well, let's take Kyle's question here. He's looking for some feedback on his flex positions. So he's got Josh Allen at quarterback, Bucky Irving, Pollard at running back, Worthy, Pickens, Coleman, Shakir. So Coleman and Shakir currently in the flex, Kittle, and then defense kicker, blah, blah. Jacoby Myers, Ollie Gordon, Tesla, Rice, Corum. I think I'd be starting Shakir and Coleman there. I think both of them are kind of fine flex plays. This is a sacrifice you make if you go elite quarterback and elite tight end.
So I just want to remind, and we're already into regular season mode where I'm going to be reminding folks about the injury stuff. Shakir is coming off of a high ankle sprain. We expect him to play week 1, but we expect him to be 20%-ish less efficient physically as a yak guy, and then just historically what high ankles do to skill position players, severe high ankles, because he's missed a lot of time with it. And so with a 20-ish% production efficiency hit to Shakir week 1, I probably feel comfortable because Shakir and Jacoby Myers are probably within the same tier of floor and ceiling, but then that's at full health. So I think even
it's a little early in the week for it. Yeah. And we will have the rankings videos up on the channel through the week. Myself and Rich this year, instead of doing a weekly preview, we'll just be releasing our kind of consensus tiers for each position group as we go, and we'll talk about why we like each players more. And obviously, feel free to come back to the channel and drop a question at any point, and we'll make sure we answer it as we get a bit closer and we start seeing those practice reports. But Tyler, should we jump in and bone this turkey for one last time this summer?
Let's debone this turkey, Tom. Yeah, I will say I did the last 2 weeks. I had one goal, Tom, and it was to get Marshawn Lloyd out of my top exposures. And I think no. Here is some cope. He's only out for the first 4 weeks, and he can't be re-injured while he's out. You got to think about it.
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd probably could.
And think about it this way. He hurt himself on a 30-plus yard play. That's explosive, Tom. You don't forget that. You can't put that cat back in the bag. You can't nurse that cat back to health if its name is Marshawn Lloyd, but you can't put it back in the bag.
Yeah, so like last Wednesday, I recorded a show for Fantasy Pros, and we were talking about potential breakout wide receivers. And the one player that me and the other guy both agreed on was Jalen Coker, and we were both like talking him up. And the video, of course, then didn't get released till Saturday because Fantasy Pros, it's a machine, they're churning stuff out. And the comments were very dissatisfied that we talked about Jalen Coker for 7 minutes when he went on IR on Thursday, maybe. And much like Marshall and Lloyd, like these aren't players that you should be counting on for the first 4 weeks of the season. Like if you're drafting with those in mind, then just relax, guys. It's those aren't the guys you want in weeks 1 to 4, more than likely, unless they hit the ground running in a way that we don't see often for rookies.
Famously in these best ball tournaments, nothing makes it more of a low-owned hammer than if he misses the first few weeks of the season and still gets work. Yeah, I unfortunately have a lot of Spears as well, but his injury seemingly worse, but still, like late in the season, playoffs, injuries happen, attrition happens. They're not out for the season, so hard to feel really awful about that, all things considered, because even at their prices outside the top 120, 130, we saw that with Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall was in like the 120s, 140s for majority of BBM before we got the news that he'd miss a bunch of the season, and he still came back and gave you 2 huge spike weeks in the finals to be the guy you needed on a lot of finals rosters, including the winning Best Ball Mania. I know. Sweating every down and being like, looking at your portfolio and being like, I'm up, I'm down. It's all bad. It's that's sweating best ball when you have a lot of volume is hilarious.
So, I mean, I'm not going to jinx it. This draft needs to run pure. So,
thank Christ.
Let's go.
Let's end this season like we started the season, Tom, with Nico Collins, except not at the 2 spot, which has a take ever aged better than us being like, hey, Nico belongs in the top 3. And I know ADP wise, he's not, but like as far as receivers go, like he's got just as strong of a case.
So last week I was doing a show and somebody brought up the fact that apparently Nico Collins is second in the odds market for most receiving yards this year, behind only Jamar Chase. And it makes sense. Like I can poke holes in pretty much all the other guys. Maybe CD Lamb, now that the Cowboys defense looks even worse and they're going to pass crazy.
There's an implosion risk, no one talks about the implosion risk.
Oh man, seeing Derrick Henry down there with an ADP of 13 after all this redraft content, where he's been going at like pick 6.
I'm clicking him when he's available in the second because it feels like the right way to balance things.
Yeah, I'd be good with that. Either that or it's Drake London.
Well, then let's get some Drake London. I'll let it take down a little bit.
Do you want a Chan for like a less common pairing? I know that obviously for the last few weeks it's probably been okay, but I'll let you give that show.
I think losing their tackle hurts, but I still think it helps London just get a sheer amount of volume. Their playoff schedule is still really nice. Their schedule is still really nice. And it looks like Achan is good to go, but we know caps can be tricky. I'm taking him, but I still feel like London is such a huge. It's hard to poke holes in London because he's a good player who's seeing a lot of volume, and now his quarterback play, both deep, intermediate, and short from an accuracy and aggressive ball pushing standpoint. And now I would argue that the loss of the right tackle is worse for the run game in Bijan than it is for London. And also, London just saw such heavy red zone usage with Penix. And the only thing we've heard consistently this summer from everyone, not just the beat, but like everything that we've seen, is that London is just getting hyper targeted at all areas of the field. And it looks like it's just the same as the season ended. And I'm not going to take him for a running back on an offense I'm worried about implosion risk with a quarterback I'm worried about with a calf injury. Like, no, just, give me the healthy guy who looks like he could be just like the true nuts breakout from like talent, situation, and volume. Like this seems like one of the most simple bets to make in fantasy football.
Have you been seeing Bijan falling much? Because like in redraft ADP, you kind of dropped a few spots, and like I think it just kind of like for a lot of people, we've had Ben Gretsch, Evan Silver, Jacob Sanderson, Michael Dubner, Hayden Winks all going Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan, and it felt like that was kind of like the final nail for a lot of people to just flip them. But is that what you've been seeing in the lobbies?
No, I mean, like I'm on Underdog a lot, and as easy from the ship chasing Discord and Pete's Discord notes, ADP is a lot more sticky on Underdog, and it takes followers a lot less long because the slappies love their ADP, and I'm one of them sometimes. But much to DK and drafters' credit, they let the Q they let the Q marks or any sort of bad news, they let that affect ADP, and they will just free fall for better or for worse. Underdog, you rarely see that, like outside of the occasional like heavy badgeless room, for a multitude of reasons. So I haven't seen it as much, but I haven't been taking him at 2 automatically for a while, and so I'm just reminded that that's not a bad thing. So we're back on the clock here. Tyreek, Marvin, Jaden, Wilson has been falling. Adams, Cook, Tet, Worthy, Travion. What do you want to do here?
Well, I know what you want to do.
I'd be okay with some Jaden or some Tet.
Okay, let's go Tet. You got it? No.
You're killing me. You didn't even give me a chance there.
I know we've got a few questions in the chat. We'll go around the corner and then we'll get to a couple of these because these are all good times. But I don't mind taking Jaden Daniels there. Like, I think that's still fun. Well, basically, once we took Drake London, I just wanted to start leaning into zero RB.
I totally understand that, and I thought maybe that's where you're going to go. But at the same time, if I find myself just going like, if the third round feels this bad, maybe just take the easiest click on the board and see what comes back around.
Yeah. But also, like, at this point in the offseason, I'm kind of like just willing to say if we didn't get a wide receiver we wanted, and I like Worthy and I like Pickens, and I'd be willing to take Terry for the stack. It's like, I still like this value. I think that there's still plenty of fun stuff here. Where do you want to go? Would you prioritize the stack?
No, because I think Debo, I expect Terry to have a slow start to the season, which I'm not too worried about, but we can either mega stack Jaden, or we can grab the second year breakout and Worthy, or get the Pickens bring back. Call your shot.
Let's go Worthy.
Okay.
I think Worthy just looks undervalued compared to Rashee Rice.
I think Worthy has the biggest breakout potential of these guys, and at wide receiver 3, that feels like a very good price to pay for. And
like Mahomes spent so much time talking up how we want to hit on the deep ball this year, and if he hits, it's Worthy.
And famously, why do we do zero RB, Tom? To beat the shit out of people at wide receiver and quarterback. God damn it! So that's why taking Jaden made a lot of sense for this build. If we're gonna go zero RB,
I need to update the channel video, and there's certain points where I try to remember the things that I want to put in there, and that one will make it. Anyway, have you guys spoke on Juwan Jennings yet? He's my most drafted player. Really good news today from Kramer. Yeah, over the weekend when that news report kind of circulated from Grant Cohen, who's always been a little bit hit and miss. Like, I feel like when the beat writer index finally gets going, he's not going to score very favorably. But today, seeing him out there, I mean, Juwan Jennings just hasn't made that much money in his career. I feel like he can't really afford to pass up the opportunities. So it's good. And I feel like it's definitely good for him long term as well. Were you drafting him when he started falling, Tyler?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was a little bit spooked, and also I was like, well, if he's gonna fall, I don't want to be catching the knife at ADP. But when he was available in the 80s and 90s, I was like, look, I know for a fact, I know at this point we can say, like, when the agents and the teams start leaking it against each other, it's so obviously contract related. Because I was like, it made no sense to go out there. Like, it made more sense, like, I'm gonna practice, and if I feel a little bit of tightness and you're not budging, then I'm going to kind of hold in. And that made the most common sense. And it made the most sense that they can't afford to trade him because Ayuk's not going to be ready for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And all they have is Ricky Pearsall, who is not exactly the picture of health. And it's like, and they paid Purdy, so they have to win. So it's like, they're not dealing Jennings away for anything. So eventually this is going to just like happen. And so when the tea leaves were reading that, like, this is almost certainly, a contract dispute, then I was like, well, this is still a talented guy. We were in on him as like, hey, the metrics and the breakout profile, they look good. JJ Zacharyson, saying, hey, he matches the year 5 breakouts I've seen. I've just been taking him whenever it looked like 85% likely it was not a lingering issue and almost certainly contract stuff. Cause don't want the injury stuff. Like, and it looked like that was not a big issue.
Yeah.
Great news.
Okay. So we're coming back up on Zay Flowers. We keep going wide receiver. Matthew Golden. Wow, Matthew Golden has shot up.
Yeah, all these risers. I don't mind Harvey, Rice, Flowers have kind of been falling. What do you want to do here?
Zay Flowers.
Okay. God damn it. You were really testing my fingers today, Tom.
Don't blame me.
I'm getting half a second. You're killing me.
That's on you, Tyler.
Unfortunately, it is a correlated play with Xavier Worthy. So
that's fine. We can live with it. No, I mean, like, I didn't mind most of the options there, so I'm all right with it. But if this comes back around, Matthew Golden, or would you prefer Rashee Rice and just build out this kind of Chiefs correlation?
It's going to be between him and Debo, and well, there we go. We're going to have our answer.
Well, I'm fine with Debo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of a tough time buying Pollard because I thought he was, that's on me, guys. I'll say this. I keep blaming Tom. I am pointing the finger. He says Zay. I know he's a Ravens fan. I need to put him at the top of the queue, but at the same time, I need to have a conversation. And we're doing a modified anchor RB here, because the other part about zero RB is the only way you can punish the room is by taking young guys that have pass catching abilities, and RJ Harvey is going to beat the living shit out of the haters and losers, of which there are many, Master Wayne. It's getting worse, by the way. That impression is getting worse.
I'm just not saying anything. I'm just letting you just let you go.
So I wanted to go back to two things. So I checked my exposures because I realized mid rant that the guy I actually don't have enough of and is technically a fade is Travion Henderson. I have like 7.5% of him for some reason. And that doesn't feel good. I've been fading Tyreek Hill since February before it was cool. He was fine in the 4th and the 5th in the big board on drafters and on Underdog and DK, but in the 3rd round, I just liked better guys. I have very little Marv, and I'm not really afraid of that, except for the fact that the Rams secondary could just be awful, and he could beat me in week 17 and really punish me. But I don't know if I have any spookier fades than that.
I've got 3 wide receivers below 5% who all potentially could burn me in different ways, and that's AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, and Brandon Ayuk. And none of them feel amazing. I mean, I was kind of out on Brandon Ayuk pretty much consistently all summer. Just like my mindset was, and this credit to Pat in our Discord, who was on this quite early. He was like, well, he sucked last year when he didn't have an off season, and now he's going to come back from a very serious knee injury and suddenly be great. So I think that played into it a bit. I thought it was a very fair point. AJ Brown,
his price wasn't reflecting potentially missing 4 to 6 weeks.
AJ Brown, it's just like the running backs, the tight ends in that tier are just like more. And then Amon-Ra was somebody at the start of the season I was quite in on, but as things have kind of gone on, I didn't feel great about the off-season surgery. And then at a point where his health was okay, I think I just kind of have drifted slightly more to JMO at cost, and I've been a Sam Laporta slappy all off season. So at some point, you just start moving away from one player. So I don't love any of those particularly, but I feel fairly reasonable that they probably aren't going to kill me.
Yeah, and that's the tough part for basketball is you could be right a majority of the weeks, but if they hammer you in the playoffs, they're actually accurate, but try again next time. And that's my true fear. Anybody can make you pay in the playoffs. And what are you going to do?
Do you think Caleb goes around the corner, or do you want to just lock a running back?
I think he probably falls with the. And I'm not too interested. I'd prefer one of these receivers or tight ends, personally.
My lean would be Josh Downs, but I'm happy with Hawk if you want.
I would love Downs.
You see how quick I was there. Just try to make sure that you got adequate timing.
What's that, Tom? I didn't hear you. I have to take. You're breaking up, Tom. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, like, I think you play the best you can. You know, we have player fades, we have price fades, we have situational fades, we have just circumstantial. Hey, I'm trying to be heavy on this guy, so I'm going to be lighter on these other guys. And the process can be sound, but we've seen it.
Do you have structural fades that you feel? Do you feel like you should have drafted more dual RB or anything like that?
No, I think I covered my ass there with dual RB. We're back on the clock. Do you want to take Warren, who I'm not the heaviest on? Do you want to keep pissing?
Let's go one of the running backs. I think this is a nice tier for them. I'm happy with any of those three, whichever you'd like.
I like Charbonnet more than Warren.
Yep.
But okay. Oh, okay. Come on, Underdog. Come on. I pulled it up that time. You're killing me. You're making me look bad. Everybody saw it. God.
It's what happens when you go out drinking in the afternoon, Tyler.
Brother, I have one White Claw. All right. I just want to point out, ever since this update, my ability to freeze time and mess with the queue has been bad. In fact, if you saw Typhoon Tower Saturday night at midnight, for you late night sickos, you watched as my co-host dragged a guy to the top, and then he disappeared from the queue entirely, and we still drafted him somehow. So I just want to say that, like, the site's a little buggy, a little bit of user testing before the users test it in the at the back end. But Warren getting let's talk about this. Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren, and Kenneth Gainwell. I don't think this really changed anything from my perspective because the money seems very. If anything, it just made me. I was always hesitant on Caleb, and so I remain hesitant from an organizational standpoint.
Well, I think the argument is that he's probably the best pure runner and he's perfect for the scheme, as Rich has kind of banged on about ever since he was drafted. And I think that longer term back can win out. And the fact that Jalen Warren's never had huge amounts of rushing volume, he's also somehow never even got a receiving touchdown. So it's not even like his receiving role is that sky high. And don't get me wrong, I do really like Jalen Warren. I think he's been a value most of the offseason. But I think that by the time where the games count, I'm quite confident that Caleb Johnson's going to be playing a decent role. I mean, he's definitely not the first rookie to struggle out of the gate on pass protection. And if the Steelers have to run different formations and play two tight ends and get Pat Fryermuth or Jonnu Smith out there blocking a little bit more to get Caleb Johnson out there, then I think that's something they probably will do, because for all Arthur Smith's faults and for the fact that he'll probably end up playing Kenneth Gainwell at times, he does design a good run game, and I can't imagine that they invested that draft capital and not use him sufficiently when we think that Rodgers is going to stink.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. The prices aren't my favorite. Do you want to right the Ravens wrong with getting an anchor tight end in Andrews, or who else is standing out here?
Well, if you want Luther Burden, I know you like Luther. Otherwise, Andrews works fine.
Famously a Luther Burden guy, somehow.
I just put you down in the ship chasing community with just assumed you were.
The funny part is I enjoy being contrarian on about 3 or 4 players with the ship chasing community every year. A few years ago, it was anti Juju. Year after that, it was I refused to take Tony in the top 90, and I was a donkey for that. So I like. Yeah, I'm not always right in who I opt, but I also think it's not good to be contrarian for contrarian's sake. But a heuristic that's stuck in my head for years is that the finals are made up of like 50% or more of sharp players. And so if a lot of the sharp players I see, all summer long taking guys, why not oppo a few of their players just for sharp leverage in the play. And pods, variants, blah blah blah. But to me, that's how I justify playing a little bit different. If I'm not sold on that guy, why not just go the other way? Because you would do that in DFS, right? If someone's heavily chalk with the sharps, wouldn't you go the other way?
Yeah, let's come back to that in a second. Do you like your boy Chris Godwin here, or is he falling further?
I've gotten the Godwin thing wrong, and so I have too much, so I'm just willing to take the L there and move along.
Should we take Bateman to pair with Andrews? Does that make sense?
Let's do a little. We got Jaden, so we'll do the headless Lamar.
So just going back to your point about like being contrarian, at the weekend I drafted a 125 FFPC best ball team with Justin out of our Discord, who hasn't done any best ball previously and decided that he wanted to go balls to the wall for his first one, and we just do that. And he's the long-time Dynasty player, been playing 20 plus years of Dynasty. And he was saying that one of his favorite things to do is just join Discords, and whoever the content creators within the Discord pump up, he just immediately sells high on those players, because he's like, sometimes it screws you, but quite often he was like, and this isn't a reflection on you and Rich, but in a lot of Discords, you sell high on those players, and it's a great way to make a profit on players. So love that mindset.
I mean, you do the same thing in the stock market, right? Like if something's getting a lot of hype, you're more likely selling the top than you are getting left in the dust over a long enough period. Like this is a heuristic in the NFL. Like quarterbacks, you rarely go broke taking what the defense is giving you. You'll go broke getting greedy. And you may not get maximal value, but if you're selling at if you're selling for a profit, well, over the long term, you're going to make out better than the people trying to make it big every time, because they're going to have a bunch of losses. And I think similarly in fantasy and best ball, take the wins you can, because there are times to swing for the fences, but if you're not really sure, if you don't have conviction, then you sell where you can. And similar, I would say the heuristic for best ball is like that ADP value is that, right? Like I've had a lot of strong takes on a couple of guys' prices for a lot of the season. I've adjusted as the season's gone, but the times I do end up with those guys, I have them at the best prices, and I might have better versions of that team than other people taking them at earlier prices. Guys like Luther Burden, guys like Debo, when I did get them, I got them like 20 plus picks past ADP, and when I wasn't as sold or convicted on their prices. And so hopefully I have better combos of those guys than the guys that were taking them heavily. If they're the guy you need, then it doesn't really matter. To go back to your point, though, the only structural thing I'm a little worried about is I wonder if I didn't do a good enough job of mixing up the types of guys when I did do like dual RB or zero RB. I worry that my thing is like mixing up the types of guys. That's the one thing I think you got to diversify the types of players you're doing structures. And I don't know if I did a good job of that enough. Time will tell.
Okay, we double tapping running back on these next two picks.
I think that would be prudent.
Yeah, I'm good with Ramondre, Dylan Sampson, Trey Benson, all of those guys.
Let's get the rookie. Judkins still hasn't signed. We're getting a little bit of news that maybe he signs and maybe he's involved week one. And
I'm sure. Yeah.
To me, that tells me maybe Dylan Sampson's still underpriced as a rookie who, shout out Paul St. Smith, I believe, on Twitter. He's a friend of the channel and commenter, and he pointed out that months ago he's a Dylan Sampson guy, but I was like, hey, why are you saying he was better in college? And the data, it was reminding me that there were data and analytic reasons why Judkins might have more red flags than the draft capital would suggest, and Dylan Sampson may be undervalued for the things he was good at, and now he's getting the runway as a rookie to maybe get a leg up on his backfield competition. And with Flacco starting, as we expected, I think we're going to get more scoring out of this offense early than we think, and that could be just what Dylan Sampson needs to be, just a really good pick as a rookie running back for the full season with pass involvement. Now we're here, Tom. What would you like to do?
Well, what would you like to do? Would you like your guy Nick Chubb?
If you don't think yes, I think a little bit of Chubb wouldn't hurt.
I mean, Look,
Houston stock.
you made a good argument for it, and he's definitely. I don't know if I've drafted Nick Chubb a single time this off season, so I'm willing to take it. Particularly, if we're pairing with like Dylan Sampson and
Right.
even Jalen Warren, guys who might not be high volume guys, but could change a game in an instant.
Yep.
That's more their kind of thing. Whereas if Nick Chubb gives us a bit of floor whilst we're counting on our wide receivers, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the Nick Chubb thing, the more I thought about it, the more, I looked at and Nick Chubb is a great example of this. I looked at pre-draft 13%, and I was like, the data and the profile, this is like the Kareem Hunt thing all over again, honestly, with like a narrative fade. And if he just gets volume, if any running back gets volume, they're a good pick. He's probably too cheap. He signs to a much better contract than anybody thought. He goes to a team. I know, but this is what I'm talking about. The entire Sharp community is out on him. Okay, I'm not as sold based on the health data, the coaching comments, and the team who are just so like veteran heavy. Like I watch every week as these Texans idiots ran guys like Robert Woods and Xavier Hutchinson like way too much. Like they can be stubborn with veteran work. They continue to involve Dalton Schultz despite not liking him and not liking that contract. I'm not sold on Woody Marks at all as a prospect. I know, rookie running back hasn't cracked the lineup. It is, but he hasn't beat out like Dare Ogunbowale and Dame Pierce. These are not good running backs.
Yeah.
And he's had the entire time to do that, by the way. Like Nick Chubb was limited and ramping up in camp, and Woody Marks still hasn't blown anybody away. This is not a great offensive line, but we've seen Chubb have spike weeks just being banged into the goal line. We've seen him do that with a hampered, not that good Mixon physically. And he just feels like the Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason type of bet where it's like, I'm not sold he's dust. And if he gets volume, he's a good pick on a half-point touchdown, over the course of the season. And what happens if he's healthy all season and he gets volume? I don't think Nixon's playing this year. So if I think all those things, I'm a donkey if I don't click him. And that's why I had 20% Kyron a few years ago, because the community was way too certain it was Zach Evans and Kyron was dog shit. And then Kyron Evans being an undersized guy gets all the work. So, I don't know. Makes sense to me. Do we want to grab Michael Penix here a little after ADP to pair with Nico?
Yeah, that works, doesn't it? They're not clashing on bye weeks. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, love it.
So yeah, it feels like something where we have too much certainty. I mean, J.K. Dobbins. I was wrong on J.K. Dobbins. Like not, Nick Chubb is a physical specimen. The way he trains, the way he operates, and in fact, when he was zigzagging up the hill, in like May, the doctors were like, "Whoa, he looks way more ahead of like he's probably going to be much physically better than he was last year for sure." And so all the fantasy bros telling you he's dust, I think they're wrong. And if I think that, I better be drafting like that. And I haven't been drafting like that enough. So it's time to pack some late bags and hope I got it right.
Yep. That works. Just build the stack up. It's a difficult one because like Chubb looked so toast last year, but I think like you look where we're drafting him and okay, 12th round, guys around him. Ollie Gordon. Well, if Devon Acham plays this week and is okay, then Ollie Gordon probably turns out to be mispriced from the get-go. Javonte Williams, equally dusty. Ray Davis, if James Cook's out there, then is he still just a pass catcher? Like, it doesn't feel like the opportunity cost in that area is massive, particularly when we've got so many tight ends and quarterbacks that go in that range. So unless there's like a real true league winner, I don't know, someone like Tyler Algier or Trey Benson who pops off, then I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not sure I'd be willing to make that bet across a portfolio of drafts aggressively above level. But I think, mixing it in, making assumptions about Woody Marks. I mean, this time last year, it was Deneric Prince. It was guys like this who people were convinced were going to have a role. And ultimately Woody Marks could easily go that way.
Oh, the last point that 2 points. I saw Antwall say, guys, here's the thing. Mixon has not practiced at all with the team. Not once. He has an NFI injured away from camp. And we got snippets that he had a non-team approved procedure. If he plays this year, I will be shocked because he's not practiced yet. He's not healed yet. And there's risk that he like needs surgery to fix this. If in 4 weeks when they check again, which was the plan going into week 1, we'll check and we'll see. So like, if he plays this year, it's like a 10% chance. I really think that. And I don't know how effective he'll be. Also in preseason, we saw Chubb get way more pass work than we've ever seen him get. And if he gets that alone is a better just volume, right? Like it's, we're not expecting it anyway. Yeah, it feels gross, but it feels like the type of gross to oppo smartly. And with rookie heavy starts, he could easily, if he gives us 3-4 spikes at his cost, no matter when they come, that's valuable for our build. I think this is a running back tier break. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'd be happy with Will Shipley. Only either him or Chris Rodriguez. Do we want to pull him up?
You tell me who to click.
Let's go Rodriguez.
Okay.
I feel like he won't come back to us, the reports today. Maybe JCM turns out to be better value across the course of the season. But again, if we're accepting that RJ Harvey might have a bit of a ramp up period where he's earning the role, then I don't mind taking a bit of early season production. And maybe Chris Rodriguez is just good enough that he keeps the goal line role.
Yeah. Oh, also the last point that was like, oh, they haven't signed anyone of note, so Mixon's fine. No, guys, they signed Chubb back when we thought Mixon was fine, and they gave him more money, and we all went, why? They haven't signed anybody else because they think Chubb looks good enough, and they've got Woody, and they got Dame, and they have Dare, and they can just go sign whoever's on the street. I mean, we've seen running backs come off the street and be fine in a lot. Shanny, the OC for the Houston Texans, used to work for the Rams. They replaced Todd Gurley off an awful injury with Anderson off the street, who was a league winner. So like, if a street free agent can be a fucking league winner because he gets all the work, so can Nick Chubb if he's 85% of old Nick Chubb.
Where are we going here? I'm kind of okay at tight end, pushing that a bit more. I'd be.
Me too. Yeah. These are guys that stand out. I have no strong leans.
What about Quentin Johnston? Maybe feels like he drifted a bit because of a concussion, and then should be fine now.
Yeah, we have Nico and Chubb for Houston with a QJ bring back. I think he's still got an explosive role on the offense. I think what he and Keenan Allen do for this offense are very different. And I think with Keenan, it wouldn't surprise me if they rotate him more than his previous stops. And this is still an offense that I think can be explosive when it matters. So, feels like a good click.
Yeah, definitely. Just before we kind of hit round 17 and the next picks, just want to say a big thank you to everybody watching. You guys, this summer has been by far our craziest month ever of content, and the numbers just like insane across the board. And the audience that we have here for the Best Ball shows is by far some of our most loyal viewers, and we truly, really do appreciate you. And if you're not in the Discord for some reason and you are a YouTube member, hop in, because we're running various contests and giveaways for the YouTube members throughout the season. And we really, really do appreciate it all. And it's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. We're, dangerously close to 4,500 subscribers, which is wild. It's awesome to see. So thank you all. And like Tom said, we're doing a lot of like really fun sweeps, giveaways, stuff like that for folks in the Discord. Some fun Survivor pick'em stuff. So it's don't miss out. We want to give back always as a thank you. So appreciate everyone supporting all summer long, all year long, and even for folks supporting the last couple of years. So muchas gracias.
Yeah, it has been a long Best Ball season. I mean, we started earlier this year than we did last year.
The second I said summer, I heard my wife go, "Oh yeah, just the summer." You don't sound like that. Since January, I think, if I'm doing my math right. I assume we want to push the envelope and just leave this a 2 quarterback build with the
definitely. Yeah. Okay. Where we at on running back? I'd be okay taking Taj Brooks for a little bit of upside, or you want Kendry?
Taking less, so I'm kind of packing my bags on Kendry. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
that works. I haven't taken too much Kendry lately. I think kind of that was a lesson from last year. the year before.
Let's make the same mistake twice. Oh.
Yeah. Been leaving that to just Marshawn Lloyd stuff this year.
All right, so looks like last pick we're gonna do is probably a tight end. Given how we did early at receiver, but if you want to push these two as the main guys, I'd listen.
No, I mean, I think two tight ends of the age these two guys are, I don't mind throwing a little juice into that room. Do you think somebody like Terrence Ferguson, who's possibly being drafted a little bit less, or is there anybody else like an Oronde Gadsden or somebody who maybe it's a bit more out there, or Ben Sinnott and go double Washington tight end?
As I told Rob, unlike Eric Bimefor, I prefer not to take dog shit Washington tight ends. No, noted that tight ends don't matter. I'm fine with any of these guys, honestly. You just need guys that
keep scrolling. No, it's just rubbish. Well, let's go Terrence Ferguson. I feel like that's
okay. He's gotten the coaching comments about him. They're really excited about him. That said, they famously rested Higbee and Parkinson. Ferg has missed some time with an injury. He's a rookie tight end coming along. He's the heir apparent. I think he fits this type of build where he could easily. I like Higbee, but I easily see how he's phased out by the end of the season for Ferguson, who does have juice, who has apparently held his own in running per the coaches. And it's an offense we like. It's a bring back on our Atlanta stuff. So, any tight end can catch 1 or 2 touchdowns. What if that's the young guy? What if he's also really good? I have no strong take. I probably take equal amounts of Ferguson and Higbee. I wouldn't be surprised if Higbee is a hit just because he scores a lot more than people think in a pass offense I like. But I also won't be surprised if Ferguson's the guy down the stretch you'd prefer to have on your roster in the finals, not only as a lower owned guy, but also as the guy more likely to see the work because Higbee has not been extended. He's likely not going to be extended. And if their season doesn't go the way they want it to and they miss the playoffs, I could easily see a scenario where they kind of just let Higbee rest and let the young guy take the reins. And I probably haven't clicked him enough given that I do believe those things.
Yeah, he's just kind of an interesting player with plenty of potential there. And I think like when you're looking at guys like Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz, who, if they're hitting in a way where this team isn't dead, then they're probably seeing a decent amount of volume. So then it's looking for, well, what kind of upside can I get elsewhere? And maybe some people would rather not build like that and have just left it at 2 tight ends. But I feel like that was the right structural call there.
No, absolutely.
So let's, once you get it, so we'll just, for one last time, recap our last BBM of the summer. And then, Tyler, where are you planning on hopping over to draft next? What contest are you going to?
I would love to get a little bit of drafters in. We got all this injury stuff. We've got some fun about narratives. We've got some ADPs that are probably still poor. And I think we got some delightful overlay that I'd love to jump in on. PPR cumulative scoring action seems good to do in this final stretch, especially after a lot of good promos the last couple weeks. Shout out to drafters.
Yeah, good people over there. Of course, don't necessarily agree with their international policy change halfway through draft season.
Yes, quite. And then let's do Wash and Atlanta and Houston. So we finished up with a 2-6-7-3 and Best Ball Mania, $100,000 of the first place regular season winner and first overall in week 17. When it all matters. I should know this by now. I think it's Jesus. Is it 2 or 3? I can't remember, Tom. I can't remember how much first and best ball.
2
million to first. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Man, in this economy, it used to be 3. You can't even get 3 million. No, 2 million from first is incredible. So 2-6-7-3, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix. I really do like this, upside shots. Michael Penix obviously not as exciting as we hoped with the O-line injury, but we don't know. They could easily add someone if it's off to a bumpy start. The guys taking over could be better than we think. Penix could just be much better under pressure than we think. There's a lot of ways this could go. Still a really good price for a second-year passer that looked to have a lot of juice with a really nice playoff schedule. At running back, modified anchor with the young RJ Harvey misclick over Zay Flowers. What if he's the guy you need? Jalen Warren, Dylan Sampson, Nick Chubb, Chris Rodriguez, Kendre Miller. A room that looks disgusting at first sight, but then when you think about the game theory, the arbitrages, the exploits, it looks good. What if? At wide receiver, Nico Collins, Drake London, Xavier Worthy, Deebo Samuel, Josh Downs, Rashad Bateman, Quentin Johnston. Looks like a bunch of guys we've taken all summer long. I don't know that I've got all these guys on one roster together, though.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many Jaden Daniels teams, so I think it's still fairly different to what we've got elsewhere. I like it. I think it's maybe not the team that you run to Twitter and post and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that slaps. But I think it's really nicely built. I think it's got upside in the right places, and it's a good way to round things out.
Upside in all the right places. That's what you like to hear in hot best ball summer in 2025. Because at the end of the day, it's not the pretty teams that you post that win. It's the ugly teams that limp into the playoffs and then just surprise you. Really and truly, if Twitter likes it, it's dead. I can almost guarantee
that. Right. Well, I'm going to bounce because, man, I got week 1 rankings to do, week 1 articles to do, and stuff like that. But Tyler, this spring, summer, back end of the winter has been a lot of fun, and truly hope that we get ourselves some week 17 sweats. And I hope that we have some of the viewers sweating with us because they've all been awesome. I will let you head on over to Drafters and carry on to Tyler's After Dark. And to everyone else, I'll catch you very soon.
Thanks, Tom. Have a good one. It was fun to wrap up Best Ball Mania with Tom. We're going to jump over to Drafters. We're jumping into the $20 main event. $500,000 to first. 8 more to join. Let me swap the banner real quick. Been a fun, hot best ball summer. Where is it the black one? Nope. Oh my God. Too many overlays. There we go. 6 more to join the main event. Let me get back. That's hilarious, Buck. Damn, that's hilarious. Yeah, MDS. I love Drafters. They've had so many awesome promos. 3 more for the main event. $500,000 to first. PPR, full season scoring. Fade the injuries. Fade the bad teams. Get the good teams. Get the good players. Lap them up. Probably overlaying for another year, making it easier to get the cut line. More injuries slowly trickling out over the full season than I remember in a long time, especially as far as like offenses are concerned, for like offensive line and stuff. Buck, last comment. So I've got a muscle tank from a band we saw about a month ago with their song #Tetas. So yeah, Spanish for titties. That's my shirt today. Let me zoom in. Why did it zoom out? There we go. Oh, maybe that's a little much. And then I have the site muted, so no one's going to hear the annoying Drafters sound on desktop that they hate so much. You're welcome. And then, yeah, as MDS points out, you can just, you can get in the chat and say what up. I see Neil. What's up, Neil? How we doing? Happy Labor Day. I see David. What's up? Those are the ones I know for sure. If you're in the chat, let me know. And then let's check out the ADPs. Neil drafting with the Sims on his side. We're just going to outball knowledge him. Let's see. Thank you, sir. A lot of humidity, a lot of rain. I'm surprised it survived. What's up, dude? How is it going? Yes, happy Labor Day. What's up, Jamie? Man, y'all are chatting so fast I can't. Yeah, 6 spot feels real nice for value pockets in this section of the draft. And then if you've got redraft questions, I'm here to take them as we finish out best ball summer, wrapping up a couple of drafters drafts. CeeDee Lamb going after Bijan despite the O-line news, because not just the tackle, right? The guard's going to miss some time too, besides Gary. So I definitely be doing Lamb. We're gonna double count for better or for worse. The Dallas pass offense. It is PPR. It is full season scoring. Lamb goes at 4. We're on the clock. I think I'm gonna. I'm just gonna capitulate and take a little McCaffrey. It is PPR scoring. He looks healthy. And I'm just gonna build a awesome anchor running back build. I almost pulled up Nico though, and I wanted to kind of do it, and I'll regret not doing it. I thought there were Sims for drafters. It's just 1v1ing ball knowing. Oh, your ranks? Oh, well, enjoy Josh Palmer at 125, buddy. Lewis, thank you so much. Hey, hope you're having a good day. In Dynasty, would you trade MHJ for Pickens in a 2026 first? You've also been offered Pickens and Jameson Williams for MHJ. Okay, so you're fielding trades for Marvin Harrison Jr., who I'm not the highest on. You've been offered Pickens in a 2026 first. I think I'd take that. Absolutely. And you've also been offered Pickens and Jameson Williams. I would assume Pickens and Jameson Williams is more value than Pickens in a 2026 first. So I might take 2 young ascending guys who are likely to get second contracts pretty soon, especially for JMO. JMO seems destined to be re-signed by the Lions. So yeah, I think both of these trades are really solid. I assume you'd want the two receivers, because I feel like JMO's you're probably not getting JMO just for a first straight up. So I have a sneaking suspicion you're getting more for Pickens and JMO than Pickens and a first. People can disagree with me, but I think that's the way I would lean. What's up, Colin? How you doing? Come at me, old man. Little bitch. I got a little bitch right here, bubba. Yeah. Yeah, you get the young explosive guys. It's not all that's the young and explosive. And you print. Because you're kind of just getting a free roll the players. You don't know if the first you're going to get is a good player with a long career. We're just not gonna we're not gonna draft afraid, guys. I said I was gonna build an anchor RB build, but in PPR with McCaffrey and HN, they feel like potential cheat codes, and so we're just gonna do it. They also don't have overlapping bye weeks. That helps. Neo in the chat, player Q, the Flannelverse. Go check out Flannelverse. Great guy, great content, great stuff coming out weekly. Friend of the channel. He's a big bye week guy, and I think bye weeks, you can actually be afraid of them in best ball when it comes to full season scoring, when you want to be good every single week. Every single week matters. Robbins also, Jamie Robbins also saying that, I won't be surprised. I'm not the biggest guy on MHA. I've got a pretty decent fade on him. I think he's fine, but he definitely looks like he was a little overhyped as a prospect. And Kyler and Petzig being his quarterback in OC right now don't feel like McBride is the engine. We've kind of heard that throughout the season too. Especially, I think Jordan Rodriguez, she's been doing her athletic, going to every camp, and she said that hey, he's still the engine of this offense. So yeah, I think you're kind of getting to resell it the market bounce back. And I lean just getting a free roll that with better receivers or potentially better profiles to sell higher on. We were higher on Pickens before he got traded away, and now he's on an offense where he could just see a shitload of volume, and you get to trade him away or free roll. We're about to take our first receiver here. We're just gonna, Mike Evans. The early season stuff could not be stronger. Otten might be a little banged up. That's a red zone threat that he's not seeing. I love Egbuka. Not having Wirfs for the first 4-ish weeks is not the best thing for the Bucs, but they can still be aggressive. They had an internal promotion for OC. We've historically seen that be higher, more frequent pass volume. He and Baker are still strong rapport, strong looking connection. He has a really high ceiling as far as touchdowns and volume are concerned. Now he's not going to have Godwin for 6 to 8 weeks. He seems primed to be a solid pick right out the gate and all season if he stays healthy. So seems like a solid bet. Tempted for JSN. I think we saw some good design stuff for him. But ultimately, I think the spikes JSN's probably slightly better for PPR than Evans, but the touchdown upside, if Evans has a 12 to 14 touchdown season, he's probably lapping JSN there. I did it a long time ago, but if it makes sense, just be who you are. And I'm pretty sure that's an Underdog Cardio Club tank in the shirt too. Tim and Shamus, I see your question. I'll get to that right after I make this pick. What does that even mean? I'm interested to see what the MGK of best ball means. Easily take Worthy here if he comes back to me. And if he does not, we will slam my dick into George Pickens with the veracity of 1,000 suns. Wow, look at Egbuka's ADP. That's impressive. All right, yep. We get Worthy. Boom, boom. Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Mike Evans, Xavier Worthy on drafters, PPR, full season scoring, $500,000 to first, and the $20 main event draft. If you haven't drafted drafters, use promo code SANCTUARY for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And they got some awesome promos going on right now. These contests are going to overlay. I think people draft some pretty bad teams in these. Get it in while it's good. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly is MGK. I mean, he was dating Mila Kunis, and then they broke up. So, whatever that's worth. Neil going with Nico, Bowers, Wilson, McLaurin. Just a classic slappy draft. Wilson over Marv is interesting because I hate both of those picks. And I think at this point, I'm probably just hitting send on McMillan, frankly, and just saying, hey, I think the rookie's going to break out stronger. But Bryce has not been the best passing quarterback either. So he's, it's probably fair to say that Marv, it's an arbitrage on Marv if you're not taking him. Wilson's probably going to see the most targets. He might see the worst kind of targets, though. So that's the tough spot. MGK is in, he puts out great content, smashes hot chicks, respectfully, consensually, as an ally. I agree. In with the trends and optimistically email. You know what? That's fair. I'll take that. I will take that. And that might be the most positive outlook on MGK I've ever heard. Megan Fox. That was it. I said Mila Kunis. I'm stupid. Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher, right? I'm not that in the know on pop culture. We're all very shocked at this. All right, we're almost on the clock. DJ Moore available to us. I'm not super into it, so I might have to just click Waddle because the receiver tier gets pretty gross. Yeah, with Reek not full practicing, not even named a captain. Shock. We'll do the Miami stack. We'll just say that we got the two guys in Miami that are probably hitting and getting a lot of the usage. If Reek gets kind of phased out as the alpha and goes off on the deep end or kind of just quiet quits on the team, it makes sense that Waddle benefits. I'm not going to lie to y'all that I felt way stronger about clicking a Zay Flowers or a Travis Hunter there straight up over him, just trying to win with pure upside. But maybe we'll get them both on the wrap. We'll see. It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you can say. Hey, the volume's going to be high. It's probably going to be bad, and you hope that it's not as bad as it could be. I think I like it way less on this site because it could be a bottom 5, bottom 10 offense, especially from a pass scoring perspective, the Jets. And I think it's really hard to win these contests if you are attached to really, really dog shit offenses and you're not getting all of it. He might be getting all of it, and that's how it could work, right? Or he just spikes big in big enough and frequent enough, a la DJ Moore, to like pay it off if it, if it works well with your receiver core. He's definitely a guy I probably attack the position with volume, not so much with like quality, to try to pad the potential 0 or 5 score weeks. Megan Fox. My wife. Looking a lot like Megan Fox from the back these days. Happy man. I smashed this weekend. It's been a good weekend. I'm gonna smash again. Sent my wife to Target. I was like, hey, when I get off the stream, let me know what you got. I got something for you. Respectfully. Let's see. We're almost on the clock. DeAndre Swift at ADP. Not the most appealing guy, especially with 2 running backs already. Probably have to put my money where my mouth is. This Rashee Rice price is egregious if he's going to miss 6 weeks. A lot harder to deal with missing 6 weeks. Looking at the bye weeks, we can stomach Stephon Diggs. I think his target upside is higher. But Debo is like a PPR scam waiting to happen, attached to a Cliff Kingsbury offense. Terry McLaurin could get to a slow start. We'll go Diggs. Maybe we go Dell. I still think Diggs could spike really nicely. The Debo rushing stuff will help. He can beat me and just be a really good pick in here if he gets like some rushing touchdowns alongside of some efficient passes. I also just worry though that like he and Ertz kind of cap each other a little bit more than you'd like once Terry is up to speed. But if they get any injuries on that offense, he'll get hyper-focused. MDS says, I feel like Tyler's avatar will only encourage sniping. Is this a snipeable picture? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Fuck. You're right. And Neil is over here, game theory in the draft room. All of his picks are just trying to guess who Tyler wants. So you picked Kamara and Harvey. I did like the Harvey pick. Yeah, I'm not taking. I'm buying the slow start Terry McLaurin stuff. So I think in drafters and I've come around on Underdog too, just because his price really hasn't moved. Wasn't the biggest Debo guy, but looks like he's getting some rush work. Looks like he's getting some pass work. Looks like they've had a good offseason. He stayed healthy. Maybe he's physically ready. Maybe it doesn't matter just because they're just gonna fucking feed him the ball and it doesn't matter. All right. Let's check out who's on the board and we'll get back to the chat. 2 running backs, 4 receivers so far. See what comes back to us. I don't know that I love buying the mid-tier tight ends so much in this contest. Much more liable to pull up a receiver than tight end. I don't think I need Montgomery to attack the flex in this. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up a guy I think is much undervalued in a PPR. Oh, God damn it. They took Pittman. Fuck me. I'm going to have to take fucking... fuck it. He's back practicing. They have the number 1 easiest schedule. I will just get a little bit of San Francisco correlation and believe that he is an awesome pick with Ayuk out 6 to 8 weeks, potentially coming back slow, potentially having a setback, potentially just not being the alpha in this offense anymore, and that Jennings eats. It's just a snipeable face. And you misspelled snipeable. You misspelled snippable. And now I'm being that guy, and it also has a punchable face for correcting you. Yes, I've been smacking that ass all weekend, man. She's just running around with nothing, and I'm just like, pop, pop, pop. It's been great. Hashtag blessed. I said I was going to get back to a question. Tim and Shamus, sorry, you said 10-team, half PPR, 3 receiver, 2 running back, 2 flex. That's my ADHD going. Should I trade Travis Hunter for Hawkinson and Bill? My team is Amon-Ra, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Keon Coleman, Josh Downs, Godwin, Leggett, Kyron Chase, Brown, Pacheco, Chubb, Braylon Allen, Brian Robinson Jr., I assume, and Lamar. So you're fielding for a tight end and for... Do you not have a tight end right now? I'm not reading that you have a tight end. Yeah, you didn't tell me who your tight end currently is. I mean, you have a lot of volume at receiver, but Leggett kind of sucks. Keon may suck. Godwin may not play for 6 to 8 weeks, and he might not be good until like the final few at most. It might just be not a great year for him in general. Terry could get off to a slow start. I don't love DJ Moore. So I with Kyron, Chase Brown, Pacheco, Chubb, Braylon, I am much more inclined to hang on to Travis Hunter because I think Travis Hunter is what this team needs because you have to start 3 receivers. Travis Hunter is the 2nd overall pick in a Liam Cohen offense that's getting hyper targeted like Godwin was just last year, who was the wide receiver 1 for like 6 weeks. I think I would be more inclined to stick with Hunter and figure it out. It doesn't look like you have to start a tight end, so you're just flexing tight ends. Yeah, no, I don't think I make this trade because I think it hurts your team more than it helps as far as the strength of your roster. I think you're stronger at running back than you are at receiver because you've attacked it with volume. So I don't think I would do that trade. I don't think I would do that trade for your team. I think Hunter's upside's much higher, and I think you might be able to get a cheaper price for Bill if Bill starts slow and is coming along slowly in a committee. Might make the TJ Hawkinson click here as access to high target volume. And yeah, I will do that. So from the 6th spot, we go McCaffrey, Achane, Evans, Worthy, Waddle, Diggs, Jennings, and Hawkinson. PPR, famously, Addison is going to miss some time. And so I think that benefits Hawkinson a lot. Maybe a little bit of a hit. Why is this not reacting? This is stupid. Hold on. So maybe like a slight hit to how good of a pick Hawkinson could be, but I still think looks like the rapport is really strong, and feeling could get phased out. There we go. Now it's responding. Whereas I don't have the same fear for that with Hawkinson, obviously. And year 2 removed from the ACL, I think he's going to be a lot more productive and efficient than he was when he was being drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round with Kirk Cousins. And McCarthy looks like he's pretty solid. So this is an offense we want pass production from, and I'd rather take Hawkinson at 91 than Laporte at 77 when you look at the 2v2s straight up. And now we're going to have to decide between J.K. Dobbins and Brock Purdy. And I think I just have to accept that I took CMC and Achane, and I have 2 San Francisco pieces, so I can't really afford to lose out on my Purdy stack for upside in the offense. And so we're going to go Brock Purdy to get our first quarterback and attack San Francisco being the easiest schedule in the NFL projected, and see what happens. All right, let's go back to the chat. Sniple, yeah, that's funny. Let's see. And then Chandler, did you leave half of a comment in an 18-team PPR? Who do you think I should? Oh, should take it 3? 18-team PPR. You're probably looking at getting wiped out at running back. An 18-team. And so in that event, I probably go like Gibbs or CMC, right? Like you're looking for a guy that can absolutely lap the position and the league at total upside. I think Bijan's case of doing that got hurt with 2 of his starting linemen going out for all season or potentially huge chunks of the season in the guards. The guard that they lost for amount of time. I have not seen what the timetable is for that. Anyway, Bijan feels like a median play. I think in 18 team, you cannot settle for median plays. So I'm inclined to say CeeDee Lamb or Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it's going to be harder or CMC, right? Like I think we know that the pass catching league winning running back is much more powerful in redraft than wide receiver. And I'd be tempted with either one of those guys. And your league might be spooked on CMC. The guy who drafts CMC might be spooked. So ultimately, I'd say take probably Gibbs. Just chasing that like monster breakout. He's had strong comments. The new OC who got internally promoted has been talking all summer about getting more of the best guys involved in the offense. Like I mentioned with the Bucks, internal OC from pass coordinator promotion usually leads to more frequent passing. That's going to benefit guys like Gibbs, JMO, and Amon-Ra. So that's probably where I lean. And thank you, Meg. Happy end of Best Ball Summer to y'all as well. Y'all have had an awesome summer. Best Ball Jeopardy was a lot of fun to participate in and watch. Go check out Fanspeak. Show them some love. Shut the fuck up, Neil. Using my double C bitch on my stream. The disrespect. All right, we're back on the clock. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'll double check. Let's see. None of these guys feel fun. We'll get Eckler as a PPR undervalued running back full season. He had a pretty strong role. We didn't take Bill. In the event that Bill disappoints, Eckler is probably a very strong pick, especially on this site. And it's probably a build we only take 5 running backs on, and he just felt like the clear take there, given what we know. Although I won't be surprised if I'm stupid and should have just pulled up McCarthy, and we'll get punished that way. Yeah, probably should have just pulled up McCarthy. Yeah, if you have Goddard, I don't know that upgrading from Goddard to Hawkinson, unless you're really into Bill and you're going for the Bill league winner upside. But I think Hunter could be an awesome pick. But if you feel better about DJ Moore and Keon and all those other guys, and you're high on Bill, then okay. I guess Hawkinson for the first few weeks versus Hunter is a decent arbitrage. But I don't know how strong of a pick Hawkinson's going to be when Addison is back. And, he's going to be good. I'd be more interested if it was tight end premium. If it was tight end premium, then yeah, I think you're getting a pretty decent arbitrage on Hunter, and then you're also getting Bill. But if it's not tight end premium, it's just half PPR, I'd rather take the swing that Hunter is like younger, more explosive, Chris Godwin in this Liam Cohen offense. Listen to Anthony, aka Best Ball on Call, who also does best ball streams. Great dude, friend of the channel. Smash the like for Emo Cowboy if you're ready for football. Boy, oh boy, am I so ready. McCarthy goes right in front of us, so we're back on the clock. It's probably one of Burden or Bateman. I don't have any stacks that are calling out that I absolutely have to have. We'll take some Ravens explosive touchdown plays, and then we'll think about what we've done with our lives. Yeah, I regret Eckler over McCarthy now. I got greedy. I thought I could push him around. I did not. So now we have to figure out what we're going to do. I'm glad we got Purdy, but we obviously did not get Drake May. And now looking back on it, I would not have regretted reaching for my quarterbacks ahead of time so that I could get both May and Purdy, or May and McCarthy, or whatever. So now we're going to be dumpster diving, but I like some of the options late, so we'll be all right. It's definitely going to be a 5 running back, 3 quarterback build because we missed a nice tier of quarterbacks, I thought. Yeah, I was getting greedy. Oh, well. It sucks because he was going like 140s, 150s, sometimes in the 160s on drafters. before Rodgers signed to Pittsburgh, and people were kind of buying some of that FUD. And they weren't, oh, he hasn't played yet, yada, yada. So you never know. Let's see. Tillman goes ahead of ADP. Kincaid. Maybe the most unfun click in all of fantasy football. He feels so much like Kyle Pitts, just like, hey, what if? What if we just keep buying back in at the top? God damn, man, I'm so stopped up. Allergies have been rough. All right, we're about to be back on the clock in the 12th round. I'll buy some Dylan Sampson. I'll buy some Jake Fergie. Or I'll just reach for a quarterback. I'll be fine with any of those options. So we'll see what Neil does. Trying to snipe me. Tank Bigsby over Dylan Sampson. Wow. Does this go in a ball? I don't think so. I like what Sampson can offer this running back room with only 5 running backs. So I think I'll go Dylan over Jake, and Jake goes. I would have been tempted to maybe just get a tight end of a really good team, but I think Goddard might be available. Let's see, how many quarterbacks are we looking at? The Hurts team's probably pushing it. You know what? We're not going to push it again. I would love Dylan Sampson, but I don't think I can convince myself. If Cam Ward goes, he'll be easy to backstack. I don't necessarily need to stack him because he is a rushing quarterback. I think he's got really underrated upside as a number 1 overall pick, a pretty solid prospect. He's looked like he's got a real boy NFL arm. He's making some good reads. They're putting Ridley and the X receiver in motion a lot, makes his reads and his throws easier. The yak is going to be there. We've seen multiple quarterbacks attached to Callahan's offenses have really nice fantasy outings just because of sheer volume and efficiency. The line has been improved. It just feels like a very underrated click full season. And so for that reason, I would kick myself if I took ultimately a running back from a bottom 5 team, especially once Flacco leaves. And the Flacco splits have not been kind. Yeah, and Bryce goes. So I feel good about that click. Looking back. And I'm willing to roll Tua around the corner. And so we're looking at a 2-3-6-1 build. And we'll just go ahead and get a little mini Washington. It's PPR, it's full season scoring. So let's just attack some top 5 offenses when in doubt. I'm not the biggest Hollywood guy. He's probably more viable on PPR for sure. The first 6 weeks without Rice will be good, but he's missed a lot of time. So he could also start slow. I expect Worthy to be a really big, part of this team. It would have been a nice Kansas City double, but I think for this team, let's just invest in what feels like a more sure thing for being fantasy viable offense from touchdowns and passes, and then also didn't take Debo. So, in this universe, since there's no pods, we're all playing against each other once it goes live. I'm fading Debo, and if Debo doesn't hit, I think that directly benefits Zach Ertz. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, best ball on call, same. Pitts and Kincaid feel similar. Yeah, probably, with the caveat that Pitts is still on the trade block, and so if he gets traded to a team, it's probably more likely that he doesn't matter and gets phased out. Because we see guys that are traded mid-season rarely really pan out. What's up, Fantasy Dog? Welcome back. You put Bendels on that Mount Rushmore of studly best ball streamers with you. Thought you should know. Well, thank you. And hard to disagree. Bendels is a very handsome young man. And, just what a hunk. The hunky guy. A hunk that hosts a stream called Ballsy. Go check out Bendels. Go check out Fantasy Football Garage. And thank you, Fantasy Dog, one of the most positive people in all of the best ball community and fantasy football chat space. Truly, everywhere he goes, he's like a sunflower in the YouTube chats. Just, compliments, positivity. Truly awesome to see this day and age. Round 14. We'll be looking at either grabbing a quarterback or stacking up Cam Ward. Yeah, it's one of the things you have to fight when you're coming over from DraftKings or Underdog, is remembering that full season scoring. You don't want to underrate what guys can give your roster every week, especially when they're attached to good offenses. Because those guys are more likely to spike more often and higher. All right. Okonkwo goes. That's a bummer. Was hoping to maybe stack him up with Cam Ward. We'll be weighing Tua versus maybe RB4. Naked tight ends go more often in this range. Tyreek Hill's on the other side of us. I have Achane and Waddle. I should probably just take Tua, but I kind of feel greedy because I think the rushing quarterbacks going later are decent arbitrages from a fantasy ceiling perspective. And I do think a tier break at running back exists. So I could contradict myself in pulling up Cam Ward, but I do think the rushing element is something that is underrated. Let me see if I'm missing anything bigly. We'll take Will Shipley. He could be a huge league winner if Saquon misses any time. And it seems like he's got the RB2 role locked down. Top 3 offense, top 5 offense. If he gets the Kenny Gainwell touches and then is more efficient, that could be a really good way. I mean, if you're talking about 5 running back rooms, he feels like a really, really, really necessary inclusion in this range of the draft. And if you're not into sunflowers, there's always the tower. That's pretty good. That's too good. Oh, man. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I think Mrs. Emo's pretty damn hot. I definitely outkicked my coverage there for sure. I was a frumpy little man when I met my wife. Long legs that didn't quit was what I noticed first. Young love. All right, let's see if we successfully got both of our targets in Will Shipley and Tua Tagovailoa. That would be nice. I did just notice that Tua was about 10 picks past ADP when I got greedy and pushed him around, but I had a feeling I'd be staring at these running backs when I took Tua, and I didn't feel great about it. And we're successful. We do not get JJ McCarthy back, but we do get Tua. So our quarterback room will consist of Purdy, Ward, and Tua, which makes a lot of sense because if Achane and Waddle are hitting, Tua's probably having a good season for fantasy, or at least he's having a really strong stretch that's helping out this team. And now we'll just hammer out one more tight end, one more running back, and 3 more receivers. Yeah, 3 or 4 more receivers, if I did my math correctly. Drafters ADP of 171 for Joe Mixon. Coker at some point missing the first 4 to 6 gets interesting just because of his profile. He put up some really strong games late in the season when he was healthy in PPR land. But still not the best offense projected, so I'm not going to get out over my skis on that one. Oh, yeah, God, Tua pushed around the corner. Get the value nut button. Thank you for getting my place. Been a busy weekend. Bear with me. Hit that like and that subscribe if you haven't already. We are on the road to 4,500 subscribers here on the Fantasy Sanctuary. Truly incredible stuff. My God, y'all are so awesome. And this summer's been incredible for the Sanctuary. Tom putting in a ton of work on the redraft, best ball, and editing and production side of things. My God, the videos and the shorts look amazing. He's done awesome. Drafting over on FFPC, and then Rich just crushing with the Dynasty content. All the awesome guests we've had. Truly the best ball ranks, the redraft ranks, the Dynasty ranks, the Discord. It's all been amazing. The fucking board is glitching again, so we'll just refresh. All right, Elick goes. Wow, Chris Rodriguez, the Neil. Did you know this is PPR, buddy? Chris Rodriguez doesn't catch passes. Big Dog, welcome in. He says, I got a Warren Loveland at the 9 turn. Gibbs, pick 1. That's fun. Where'd they go in this one? Oh, yeah, with Warren going in the 70s. My God. I think Loveland's a great target because people are like, oh my God, he's rotating with Cole Kmet. And it's like, well, if they run a lot of 2 receiver sets, it's not going to matter. They're both going to be, yeah, I got you. Tyler Warren. Yeah. Type what? The nut button? Or what am I missing? I'm not following what I'm saying. We're almost on the clock. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'll talk shit to Neil in the chat in just a moment. Let's see what looks better in this range of the draft. We're on deck. Man, it is a just murderer's row of dog shit. I think an underrated click is we're just going to keep attacking potential high-scoring pass offenses to catch up at wide receiver, and that is going to join us with Andre Yoshivas. ADP doesn't matter at this point. I just want points, and I want spike guys, and it looks like he's got the number 3 wide receiver role on lock. If T, Chase, or Gesicki miss any time, he's there. And quite frankly, looks like he's had a really strong camp. He's still got a good connection with Burrow. We expect this offense to have to score a lot with a bad defense, even with Hendrickson re-signing. He sat out a lot of camp, so won't be surprised if he's a slow, inefficient start. And the team needs to get to a hot start to not fall behind early and often, and they could just be, top 5 pass offense, top 1 pass rate offense, and we've seen him have multi-touchdown games. Seems like a really great pick in this format, especially covering some week 14 bye scoring. And then let's harass Neil in the chat. We're on deck. JT Sanders feels like a potential undervalued click. With Coker missing some time, I don't know how much I like. Okay, good. Fanning goes. All these tight ends are pretty similar to me. Let's look at the running back room. This feels like maybe the time to take a 5th guy. We're going to do something controversial and take Justice Hill. It is famously PPR, and having 2 pieces of the Baltimore offense feels like a more viable way to me. I think Keaton Mitchell, he's already missing some time with injury. I see the vision, but I just don't know if he's going to get 8 touches in this offense as the confirmed RB3. They confirmed that Justice Hill's role remains what it is. They want to be explosive. They want to be pass-centric with Lamar. 5 running backs. I'm searching for spikes and PPR. And maybe I'm dumb, but I'm not a Mitchell Slappy. What can I say? Let's go check in on chat. Let's see. Dear Neil, you stink at running backs. That's funny. Big Dog says he pulled a 2-4-12-2 on DK from the 2 spot. Aaron Jones. Nice. Oh, wow. David says this is his final draft of the year for the main tournaments. Well, salute, brother. Salute. What you got cooking up over there? You're in the 2 spot. Come on, drafters. Gibbs, Taylor, Allen. That's a fun start. And then JMO, Ridley, Judy, Warren, Tracy, Andrews, Goff, Godwin, Stevenson, Davis, Wandale, Slayton, Dart. Nice double stack Giants there. That's fun. Dart's such a fun, easy click late in drafts. My God, his floor ceiling combo is so underrated. And with Allen, I mean, that's the type of play you make, right? Like as long as he fills in for your buy with the elite, you're cooking with gas. Hill is a bad pick. How will Hill line up win BBM? Well, this isn't Best Ball Mania. This is drafters. So it's cumulative season scoring. Week 1 matters just as much as week 17. Hill in the Baltimore offense has had 6, 7, and 8 reception games. And so in PPR, I'm just like with just 5 running backs, I want to make sure that running back 2 and then potentially flex via running back is just really, really strong. And I thought he had a higher upside to hit my lineup over the full season. You can interchange him and Keaton, but I think in PPR, I lean the guy that's going to have pass catching because any game that he's catching a lot of passes is probably a game that Henry's not scoring very well, and I feel really solid about that. We're probably going to grab a receiver here. We'll grab Ray McLeod, underrated PPR guy. We're taking a lot of shots, trying to catch up a receiver since we did do McCaffrey and HN to start. There's the full team for folks wondering. Purdy, Cam Ward, Tua at quarterback. McCaffrey, HN, Eckler, Shipley, Hill. PPR full season scoring, folks. I more agree in like Best Ball Mania or whatever for sure. Emmons, Worthy, Waddle, Diggs, Jennings, Bateman, Yoshi, Ray. Mooney could have a slow start. Jennings could have a slow start. Diggs looks like he's fine. Just taking shots at guys who are underrated in offenses and in roles for PPR. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, David's got a nice one there. And then someone asked him who is David's most drafted player. He said Calvin Ridley. Ooh, Tom approved. Yeah, that big board price of like 6-7 turn Ridley was easy. I was late to the Travis train. I was, but I feel like I've made up for it in post draft, and I think I've got good enough stands. We'll see. Yeah, week 17 is all that matters in week 17 contest. This is a full season scoring contest, so week 1 matters just as much as week 17 for full season scoring. So I attack really good offenses with really good roles, and I remember that it is PPR scoring. And yeah, the Trey Harris, what a from rags to riches back to rags. I think he's still a viable click, but it definitely feels thinner than ever. All right, so I think at this point, I just triple stack Tua. I would double up the bye week at tight end, but I think that's more viable than Freiermuth because this has to just be a team that Miami, Sands, Hill is cooking, and I think I just have to create it like that. Sadly. And then this last pick, let's see. We go 2 running backs, 5 straight receivers. I probably have to do a 9th receiver. My receivers are Evans, Worthy, Waddle, Diggs, Jennings, Bateman, Yoshi, McLeod. Yeah, I probably should just go 9. I don't know that a 6th running back helps me at all in this build. So now we go hunting. Let's see. Butte apparently has a really strong, and I'm just telling Neil who to pick at this point, who stacks up. Got a double stack Fields with Josh Reynolds. Butte apparently has had a really strong camp, looking really good at the 3rd receiver spot. Trey Tucker just taking stabs at the Raiders. Robinson is going to miss the first few weeks with a suspension that feels like a bad click. Turpin is interesting. Noah Brown with Jaden Daniels is interesting. That'd be 3 Washington guys. Zay Jones apparently forcing a split with Michael Wilson is interesting. Does Neil take Olamide Zacchaeus? Did the old man take an old man? No, he didn't. Okay, sorry to slander you. You took Miles Sanders. Once a leg up slappy, always a leg up slappy. Am I right? Let's take Kayshon Butte. I know it's another week 14 guy, but at the same time, we have the headless New England double stack. They have the 2nd easiest schedule in the league, and he looks like a very underrated guy there. So the final squad: Brock Purdy, Cam Ward, Tua at quarterback, running back CMC, Achane, Eckler, Shipley, Justice Hill, wide receiver Evans, Worthy, Waddle, Diggs, Jennings, Bateman, Master Bateman, Andre Yoshivas, Ray McLeod, Kayshon Butte, and then TJ Hawkinson, Zach Ertz, Darren Waller in the Drafters $20 main event, $500,000 to first. And we're going to rip one more. If I can get back to the fucking main menu, we're going to jump in one more main event. Nice team, David and Neil. 9 more. What's up, No Cap? We're doing all right, brother. We're having a pretty good day. We had some smoked chicken and barbecue pulled pork at the pool for a little bit, in between a little bit of rain, a little bit of thunder, so it was not bad. Good luck this season, brother. Hope you get a good one. Yeah, the Washington stack, I think Noah Brown is an underrated guy as a veteran. Jalen Lane's more fun for sure in week 17 contest, but I think Noah Brown is the 2nd receiver on the Washington offense. Could be really fun. 2nd boundary receiver, I should say. For sure. 6 more to join the Best Ball Championship main event over on Drafters. $20 entry buy-in, $500,000 to first, and almost certainly some overlay. I think last year it was like 15 to 13% from full fill. This year we are sitting at what is it sitting at right now? Let's see. It is at why can't I see it? Hold on. That's annoying. Let me zoom out. Oh, entrance. There I go. I'm stupid. Let's do the math on this. 102, 190. 73% filled. And it goes live Thursday. So probably right up there with probably like 83 to 85% full at lock. So get that overlay over on Drafters. Use promo code Sanctuary if you're a first-time depositor. Yeah, I got to do a brisket. I haven't done a brisket in a minute. One more for the $20 main event over on Drafters. PPR, full season scoring, and we are off. Filling fast. Nice. Chasing the overlay. 2 spot. Nice. I see I am the KY with their AI splash play avatar. I recognize B King 818, I believe. Who else? Maybe that's it. If Broncos for Life does not draft a shitload of Broncos, he's a fraud. Yeah, the food here in Texas is unmatched. Truly blessed. Had a lot of good food this weekend. Ate a lot. Not exactly getting shredded to close out hot basketball summer. What can I say? Pollen is kicking my ass. I probably want to grab a hero RB. Now I get to decide CeeDee Lamb or Gibbs. I haven't gotten draft. I think you got a lot of spike week guys, a lot of leg up guys, probably taking Lamb. Just a little Gibbs at the 2. You know, I just said, who would you take in an 18-team PPR league? You know, who would I take in the drafters main event? And let's just, you know, I have plenty of CeeDee Lamb across all platforms. I wasn't getting as much Gibbs early. I just wasn't getting many spots where he was like a clear click. And now I've decided I want to close. I don't want to not have enough Jahmyr Gibbs when it's all said and done because he's such a talented guy, such a clear runway. Just go get it, you know? The Cajun food over here in South Louisiana is pretty close, but I agree that overall Texas is better. I mean, the Cajun food is fantastic. Where in South Louisiana are you? But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the overall, I mean, the fact that, you know, greater Houston area, I can get any type of food and it's really solid to like amazing is really, really underrated. I'm a big food guy. Love to eat. But the Cajun food is not the same across the border. It's nice. It's close in some instances. Definitely not the same, though. This draft is crawling with the first round. Everybody taking up a lot of clock. Saquon falls to 7. London getting pulled up to the 8th spot. 39 drafts in for Rob Blaze. Wonder if they are attempting to build uniqueness on the field with 2 players in the second round. Interesting strategy for sure. Might create uniqueness elsewhere, though, if the fallers fall right. So always a little bit of a risk. Oh, God. A good beignet. Good beignet with a good cup of coffee would fucking slap right now. I know Thibodeau. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. My wife's from New Orleans, so we visit quite often. And I used to go down to like Lafayette and for like crawfish boil season and all that good stuff. So that's sick. Clock, welcome in. Hit the like, hit the sub. Who should I trade for Tyreek Hill? Can you clarify? Are you trying to trade for Tyreek Hill or are you trading away Tyreek Hill and you want someone in return? Unclear. And is this redraft? Is this dynasty? A little bit more details. PPR, half PPR, and a little bit of detail. And I can kind of help you out. I did 5 teams with London round 1 high. I mean, I get it. You know, I just, Tom and I ripped Best Ball Mania, about 30 minutes ago. And it's really hard to not see a really good season for London. I like him more in round 1 as uniqueness before the hits to the offensive line. But as we said, I still think he's hurt less overall than maybe Bijan is. But I worry about how good the offense can be the full season in this format. It's got a little bit thinner with guard and tackle getting hit, but yeah, still very viable. And there were times where Bowers was going in the first round too, so it's viable. I mean, like if those guys are both first round picks next year, how shocked would we be? Not really, I don't think. Certainly viable. If London just sees a shitload of red zone targets and just, gets like what, 14, 15 touchdowns, it doesn't matter, right? Probably. Trading away Tyreek, redraft PPR 12 team. Okay. Well, sentiments are not high on him. But I'd probably try to get someone within, like 5 picks of ADP. So you're looking at like a JSN, Evans types. The JSN drafter probably hits accept. Maybe that's reasonable, right? PPR JSN for Hill, that seems doable. You could sell them on the ceiling, and I think JSN's is primed for a really nice season and breakout himself. I'm gonna go T Higgins here. I don't love Jacobs in this format too much. PPR, I'd hope for a little bit more pass upside. Maybe we get both. I thought T was more of a priority here for the ceiling. It's hilarious that I'm next to an Avi that says all you can eat. McBride's a lot stronger on this site than some other sites, so it's probably going to be him or JSN. We'll go for McBride. If he runs better on touchdowns, he's a really strong pick. And we go very balanced. Gibbs, T, McBride, full season PPR. That's crazy. We might move back toward Houston eventually, but right now it makes sense. I mean, I get it. Once you settle in, it's pretty hard to up and move, no matter where you are. I wish I was. Houston's fun. I would love less heat, less rain, less hurricanes, more moderate temperatures for me and my dogs, better scenery to hike and experience than the flatness, But yeah, it's hard to escape the roots. You get your social, netting in, your family netting in. It's hard to move. MDS said I did 2 teams with Henry and 1 with Bowers. Oh, your London team. So London Henry, London Bowers, and then HN, AJ Brown. They're fun. I think it's a really underrated way to play these contests, or just say, hey, instead of hoping to build a super team because of fallers, what if I just do straight up combo uniqueness? And I don't mind that at all. The risk of that is that you lose out on uniqueness that is created over the time of the contest, right? Because this contest has been open since, a couple days after the draft. And so what may have been unique at the time becomes more normal, and what was normal at the time becomes more unique. A couple of those risks. But ultimately, I think it's more viable now, especially if you look, we're about to close. So at this point, it's going to be really hard for anyone to get combos that you're seeing. But I definitely think it's an underrated way to play it in a really smart way of just saying, hey, ultimately, this is probably a very flat tier, especially in this contest, right? Like full season scoring. It's all about variance, who stays healthy and who runs better on scores, which teams run better, right? So I like that a lot. I tend to do it myself in a really smart way. Definitely, I don't think you're giving up too much in most cases, especially like the back half of the draft board. I think it's very useful if you have access to like what ADPs and combos have been done a lot, and then make sure that you're getting like a unique combo. But yeah, I like that. Especially guys with like Henry and Bowers, HA and AJ Brown. Like if they stay healthy and they run better with regression, they are just very strong picks. It's hard to get a key aging queen to leave the bio. No, I totally get that. Yeah, no, for sure. Thoughts on the Judkins news? Is there Judkins news, or is it the rumors that Judkins could sign soon? Have I missed something breaking while I've been live? Because the last I saw, he was expected to sign soon and could contribute week 1. Have I missed something else? Scrolling Twitter really quick to make sure I didn't miss any Quinshawn Judkins news as this drafters draft hits the 4th round. Also, has Tyreek ever felt more trade risk than ever? Let's see. Najee said today he expects to play against the Chiefs on Friday. Did not want to get into any details on what happened, but he said his vision has not been affected and called the eye superficial. Wouldn't that be so funny if ultimately he did play, it wasn't a big deal, and it was superficial? That'd be really funny. The Najee Harris arc, so wild. Yeah, just the one. So I'd say I expected him to sign before week 1. I'd say it's worse that he's not signed and practiced by now, because you were hoping he'd at least get like a couple weeks with the team to practice and take part in installs and conditioning and all that good stuff, right? So it's probably the worst thing that could have happened in the median that he hasn't signed yet and isn't going to sign soon. We take Pickens auto smash at the 47. We didn't take Lamb, so we'll take the arbitrage on the offense. Buka feels a little pricey here. It's probably Sutton or Ridley. Sutton feels like settling for median, and Ridley, I think, could break out with Ward. That would give us 3 bye week 10s, though. That's a little, doesn't feel great. But we'll have multiple guys, so is it the worst? Oh, I'm so torn. We'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry too much about bye weeks. I'll just have to be mindful that the receivers I build later on will have to, especially with building quarterback. Burrow goes, so I don't have to worry about Burrow. Dak and Cam will have the same bye week, so just something to keep in mind for me. Would have been totally fine with JMO, but JMO goes, so no Detroit. What's up, Bubba? What's up, Milo? Everybody say hi. Hi, Milo. I heard you barking. I don't know if anybody else heard you barking, though. Yeah, so ultimately, I'd say Judkins signing is good, but he's missed all of camp. We know that's bad. That's probably especially bad for like being involved in like pass pro and pass routes and like blitz pickups. And conditioning and like slow start, and it's not exactly a great offense to begin with either. So ultimately, I'd say if you were worried he's not signing, it's probably better that he has. I think it was likely he signed regardless, and then say maybe if he's getting ready to be signed, it's because he's like the NFL and the team have talked about. I don't want to run over your tail, Bubba. About like, I think I saw a report, rumors that like the suspension was maybe not expected for either he or Isaiah Bond. And so I guess it's, if he's getting ready to sign, it probably means that he's not going to be suspended, maybe. And that's the best news. I think the worst news would be he doesn't sign until like very, very late going into week 1. And then he's also slapped with a suspension. So if he's not going to get suspended, he could get ramped up. Probably the best news you could hope, because the suspension would be even more missed time and even worse for him. So I'd say I expected him to sign, and I expected him to have maybe like a 30-40% chance of suspension. Maybe that's closer to 10 to 15% suspension at this point. But ultimately, I'd like to stop hearing rumors of him signing and just actually see him sign. So, because the longer it goes on, the more I think that there's a suspension risk. Because that seems what would be in the way of him signing a fully guaranteed second round contract, like all of their second round picks, right? Is that they don't want to give him fully guaranteed for potentially missing time and voiding it with suspension. So I don't know. It's a weird one. Probably ultimately nothing burger. I think he's a fine click in, taking the upside shot in redraft and in best ball at ADP in drafters. It's a low value running back room. I don't know, where is he going on drafters? 152. This feels more than fine if he does not get suspended. If he does get suspended, the slow start, low value running back room, you need him to spike big. Hi, Bubba. I know. We'll go out after I'm done. I don't think it feels bad for the Samson shares because he's already splitting 50-50 preseason usage-wise with Ford, including pass work. I think Judkins, I think the risk of him not playing at all this year was overblown a little bit, and him not signing and playing was a little overblown. I don't think Judkins can contribute very much early on from he hasn't practiced with the team yet, at all. He didn't practice. This all came out, so he's missed all of fucking camp. So, it seems bad. Rome versus Olave. We're on the clock. I still think Samson's a very solid pick to contribute early because I don't know how involved Judkins will be at all the first few weeks because he's not practiced yet. And the team is getting ready to play. They've already announced Flacco as the starter. I think Chris Olave is set up to be a better click in PPR than Rome. I view Rome and Judy pretty similarly, like boom and bust. So yeah, I think Samson's still a fine pick to contribute early because he's already played, he's already gotten some trust, and been integrated in the offense the last few weeks. Sounds like he had a pretty solid camp, and I think it's more likely that Judkins and Samson cement themselves than a three-headed, split with let's say Jacoby. He's probably not going anywhere, and so he's a fine click in this format. Gibbs, Higgins, Pickens, Ridley, Olave, Jacoby Myers, and Trey McBride from the 2-hole. Oh, thanks. Yeah, he's our 1.5-year-old Pyrenees. Big, needy baby. 110 pounds, thinks he's 30. Yeah, I know. You want all the head scratches. I don't have long arms. Don't paw me. This will be our last draft, and then I'm going to take the dog out. It's been stormy, so he's feeling a little needy. Yes, Bubba. Yeah. Yeah, I still think Samson, a lot of viability to contribute early. He's also a rookie. He's also had a really strong profile himself, and now he's gotten really good rollout to have a role and earn a role. It's hard to put a rookie back in the bottle, right? It's more likely that they relegate Ford to some extent than they do Samson when Judkins comes back. And, Judkins could just be used as Chubb and Samson is the hunt, right? And then with Flacco starting, you're going to have high ceiling potential games that he's still viable for. So appreciate you supporting and chatting, brother. Have a good one. To you and yours. Happy Labor Day. Y'all enjoy. Appreciate everybody hanging out and chatting as we rock and roll to close out Best Ball Summer here on September 1st of 2025. And then I'll let anyone coming in new that will ask, we'll take their questions. And then there we go. A little scroll as we wrap up on drafters. Jahmyr Gibbs, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers, Trey McBride from the 2-hole. $500,000 to first. Checking on the board. Pollard goes early. Tracy continues to go at ADP. Tracy going right around Aaron Jones seems a little silly to me. I think Aaron Jones is a much stronger pick. Jalen Warren going over Jones is interesting. Jones is the better version of that play, in my humble opinion. So KY scooping up that value. Shakir going at 79. Yeah, he's starting week 1, but he's still going to be a little inefficient and hampered from the high ankle sprain for at least the first 4-5 weeks. I think that makes him a clear tier below guys like, Pittman and Jennings and the like. Addison, I know you're missing 3 games, but I think his ceiling is just so much stronger. I know Shakir is a fine pick in PPR, but it just feels like such a floor play. Pittman going ahead of him makes way more sense with all that, for sure. I feel really good about the receivers we were able to get. There's definitely a tier break, and the running backs and the quarterbacks feel like very strong picks here, all things considered. So I'll be very, very, very good with taking these guys. J.K. Dobbins should probably be ahead of Zach Charbonnet for sure. Yep. Wide receiver thirst. I mean, my God, Downs should go ahead of Shakir. Downs should go ahead of Shaheed. Bailed out with that one right there for sure. Yeah, this is a very strong running back, quarterback setup. The one hole is stacking, so I can probably grab J.K. Dobbins or Charbonnet, whoever is available to me here. And he should be available to me since he is stacking. I don't fear he'll take Dak. So I'll take J.K. Dobbins. That PPR upside, contention upside, top 5 offensive line, potentially top 12 offense. Yeah, he goes Charbonnet. And then we'll be targeting Cam, Geno, Kyler, Goff, and Bo if he falls. I could take Bo here, but I'm definitely not getting Dak. And then I'm having to backstack him with like Mims and others. And I think I would have been more into it if I took Sutton. Bo's got some rushing upside. I don't know. I think we just got to go Dak here. We took Pickens. If Pickens is going to break out, Dak's having a hell of a good pass roll. Bo feels kind of like the Cortland Sutton of quarterbacks. I think there's just stronger ceiling cases for other guys. And I think Bo is more likely to fall than Dak is at this point, with Micah Parsons being traded to the Packers. We'll see what the rest of the room does here. Bo goes to the Hurts drafter because Purdy goes in front of him naked, and he had the San Francisco mega stack with Kittle and Pearsall. But Bo feels like I guess Bo with Harvey, a little bit of a panic. I knew quarterbacks were going to go. So Dak felt necessary for this build from a ceiling standpoint. I don't know how much rushing we're going to get in Knicks necessarily in year 2 with more passing weapons. We've seen quarterbacks tend to rush a little bit less as their careers go on. I think he'll be very, very efficient, though, passing the football and with touchdowns. We've seen that with Sean Payton. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he's not as good for fantasy just because like the running backs in Dobbins and Harvey are so good, and they just get a lot of rushing touchdowns. Checking news on the Twitter machine to make sure we haven't missed anything pertinent. Doesn't look like we're missing anything, which is always good news. Late breaking Monday, Labor Day news would be a little shocking. I would more expect, the Friday news dump, which I don't feel like we got much of the Friday news dumps as much as we're used to. So I expect a lot of those in season once that gets started. This draft continues to crawl on. Marvin Mims goes early, so feel even better about not taking Purdy. Because it looks like unless Ingram falls all the way back around to us, we would have had to be back stacking him outside of Dobbins with like Bryant and Troy Franklin. And that doesn't feel great. In this contest, it's more viable on, on Underdog and DK. Drafters, I prefer to have the more elite options. Price contingent, yada yada, but still, like I don't love backstacking semi-expensive quarterbacks. But watch Ingram fall all the way back around. I wouldn't love taking that anyway with McBride. But he is the most like PPR scam type of guy on the board for sure. Almost back on the clock. In the 10th round of the drafters, $20 main event, $500,000, $500,000 to first. God, that would be nice for the bankroll. Promo code Sanctuary if you have not drafted on drafters. First time deposit bonus. 100% up to 100 bones. A lot of promos going on. Don't miss out on some good stuff. Njoku here feels like a solid guy to kind of catch up and fill in some flex. So I will tag him. I don't think... Yeah, you could take Goff. That would kind of fuck me at quarterback. We'll take Njoku. He'll take Goff. It's fine. I'll take Cam and then probably Dimes or Dart or something and just, or one of the fallers and just play for... I've also got Geno. Yeah, we'll be fine. Same thing. I feel like Njoku's ceiling offers a lot more than Goff's at this cost. Braylon is interesting. Jaden is interesting. Eckler, once again, feels maybe a little underpriced. Bayshall, big swing for the fences. We did do Gibbs, so we could do the all swing for the fences roster. He's currently debating taking Jared Goff or not. I'm debating. He goes Braylon, so. Well, we'll take Goff because if Gibbs hits via passing, he's going to make Gibbs. He's probably going to bring Goff along for the way. Offense could regress, but still be very fruitful for fantasy. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. And then ultimately, we can grab Tesla and have a little bit of fun. I don't love that ADP. Good God. I might regret not taking a third running back instead of Goff there, but if Gibbs is going to break out via the pass, it makes sense to just grab Goff and keep it rolling. Excited to do the Eiffel Tower watch party Thursday night football. We're gonna fill in the gap left by Shipcast, see if the people go for it, see if they like it. So PPR Tyler, Best Ball Guy, aka Eric, and myself will be doing a watch along on the Eiffel Tower this Thursday with Stephanie Miller, aka Super Shorty, Dallas fan extraordinaire, waiver wire queen of ship chasing, and contributor to Leg Up, will be our guest for that Thursday night football watch along. Really looking forward to that. Cowboys Eagles should be fun. See how pass heavy the Cowboys are. The running backs I starred still on the board. Nothing too crazy. Javonte, just the worst feeling click imaginable, but ahead of Jaden Blue is probably wrong. Although the Cowboys fan taking Jaden ahead of Javonte, what does he know? What does he know? We will definitely be rolling just McBride and Njoku here. Really counting on McBride being a breakout in the touchdown department, and Njoku with Flacco being an absolute monster, scoring a lot of points. I don't know that we'll get a third tight end. If we do, it'll be super, super late because we've caught up everywhere else. Tillman's ADP here is wild to me. Truly interesting. And ultimately, that's going to suck. Definitely got to get a quarterback. Might be able to push Cam around the quarter, though. Yes, a watch along with PPR, Tyler, and BBG and myself should be very fun because there's going to be a lot of shit talk, a lot of tilting. I expect Tyler to try to victory lap a lot of shit week one, and BBG and I reminding him that week one is not all that matters. And God knows whatever else we'll fucking get into arguing about. So yeah, it will be very fun. I'm just ready to watch some fucking football, and man, I need it. What's up, Bendels? We were just talking about you, you sexy hunk. Charlie asking, Emo, how many eliminators did you get in? Should be a fun sweat. I only did like 5 on my own. I think we co-drafted several on stream, on Tyler's account, on Eric's account. I did not get as many in as I wanted to there. I kept putting it off and just never got around to it before it filled. It was a total blind spot for me. I meant to do more. Totally just slipped my mind doing everything else. Worst nightmare. Jake Ferguson comes all the way back around. I definitely want Cam Ward here. And so I'll just keep hedging with Nick Chubb as undervalued. Because I think he's catching passes. I know. Okay, there you are. Was that Javonte Williams hate? This is the season he gets a nickname. Is it Javonte Williams you're talking about, or Jameson Williams you're talking about? Javonte, like going from top 5 O-line and rookie quarterback with Sean Payton just hammering passes to Dallas, where they're talking about like involving multiple guys. I easily see how that doesn't work out. God, this feels like I would be investing way too much at the tight end position, but it is stacking and it is after ADP. But I need Cam Ward a lot more for this team than I need the third tight end. I mean, dude, the fucking group chat the last 2 weeks has been truly exhausting. Like, I feel like I'm managing a grown man's fucking emotional well-being every other day. My wife literally, unironically, calls it the girls. Like when she sees those 2 idiots blowing up my phone, she goes, "Is it the girls again? Oh my God, are the girls fighting?" Like all weekend long, she was making that comment. She's not wrong. So I expect something, if God, if Lamb or Pickens, dude, if Pickens has a bad week 1, Eric's gonna have a bad time. He's gonna take that really rough. Pickens drops a couple touchdowns, or if Pickens gets hurt, Eric may end the season. That man's got a lot of Pickens and a lot of emotions. I thought I was the emo one. Has she watched it? No, she hates that I stream. She hates how much football and fantasy I do. Truly. She hears me when I'm on stream and she hates it. She's like, oh my God, y'all are so loud. You're so aggressive. Every time I get off stream with those two, she goes, good stream? Everything okay? Did y'all break up? What was the fighting about? Like, just checking in. It's, she doesn't need to watch. She hears it and she's like, whatever. She's much more well adjusted than I am. And every time I get off a Typhal Tower stream, she asks, why do I do this? And I go, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you at this point. Through 13 rounds on drafters, no one cares. Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and Cam Ward at quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs, J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb at running back. Wide receiver T. Higgins, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers, Trey McBride, and Njoku. What's up, Milo? You're back, brother. I know. When this draft wraps up, I wish it would speed up. We'll get you out, buddy. I promise. Who's your good boy? Yes, sir. Oh, he's a good boy. That's good. That's good, KY. Bye week, bros. God damn, that's funny. Oh, God, that's funny. So, I expect a lot of arguing, a lot of tilting, a lot of overreacting, a lot of I told you so's. And poor Steph. I might have Steph crash out with how bad the Cowboys are. If Dak gets hurt or goes down, Eric and Steph may quit the stream, God knows. It's going to be bad. So week 1, should be fun, man. If you itchy, Bubba? Look at this boy. Oh, he's going down. Hold on. There we go. A little pandering. Here we go. Oh, he doesn't want to. Can you licking yourself right now? My God, this guy licking himself on camera. Tough scene. Yeah, she just hears me yelling on stream and she's like, is everything okay? Who died? So yeah, Thursday should be fun. Don't know how many we'll do. If it does not pop off, it's not worth being on camera for 4 fucking hours. Let's see. RB4. Look at some of the PPR Cleveland air raid shit Flacco has been known for. Will Shipley's probably going to go in front of us. That'll be a bummer. I'll probably have to accept everyone's Lord and Savior. I don't know if I can't afford to really get another bye week 10 receiver here. Dude, the receivers are disgusting. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do the tier break of double tapping running back, and then we will just finish this draft slamming receivers, and we'll be fine with McBride and Njoku. More than fine. So yeah, this Thursday might be the one and only Thursday night Typhal Tower watch along stream. If it goes well, you'll get more potentially. This is probably the only one we do with Tyler though, because it sounds like going forward he will be more unavailable than not for Thursdays because of his real life football coaching job. So, and then, I don't know how much you and I will enjoy just streaming with BBG and a guest for watch-alongs. So we'll see. But we'll give it a shot this week. Maybe, it's just fun week 1 start. We hit 500 subs. We can actually monetize with memberships and not be giving away our time for free, because it is a tough thing to do in this economy. We'll go ahead and just queue up a bunch of wide receivers. I don't know who in their right mind is clicking Amari Cooper, but Godspeed. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Daniel Jones going ahead of Geno Smith is something. For the Josh Allen team, I would have taken Smith for the guaranteed bye week fill-in. I don't know that Dimes is starting week 7 to fill in for Josh Allen. That is a choice. Coaching job, a.k.a. getting crushed in the Oklahoma drill. God, if only. I need one of his students to absolutely demolish him and put his 25-year-old ego into check. Somebody's got to do it. That is actually a really fun mental image to have. We're getting the Najee Harris news dump today. Which, if you think about it, is pretty funny. Because today, I heard fireworks last night in my neighborhood. So pretty funny that Labor Day, the most patriotic holiday we have after 4th of July, is the day that we're getting all the Najee Harris news after he blew his fucking eye out with fireworks. Ironic. Universe being much funnier than we give it credit for. Who's to say? Malik Washington's ADP being ahead of Andre Yoshivas is interesting. He got good work and looked okay, but that was with Tyreek Hill sitting out and Waddle sitting out of preseason. And Waller also not participating. Feels a little cute to go ahead of guys like, Yoshi's week 10. I literally only have 2 receivers that don't have week 10 buys, and he's definitely going to take him. We'll take QJ. It's fine. Got to be a little bye week, bro. Little bye week bitch boy. Tough scene. Holy shit, Mason Taylor's still available. That's hilarious. Doesn't really fit either of our builds. Fits his build better. Fuck, do I take a 3rd tight end? No, I think it fucks our structure. This might be our last running back. It's probably Giddens. Yeah, we'll do a rookie, and then we'll just do all receivers to close it out. Just tell her it's for the bit. David, let me level with you, buddy. I have spent 3 years defending everything I do in this stupid space. Quote, for the bit. She spent 1.5 years going, what does that mean? Which is a very fair question. She spent the last 1.5 years saying, I don't care. And then the bit is I leave you. So I think if I say it's for the bit one more time, the Denny Carter, my wife left me joke becomes real. So I have definitely pushed the envelope there as much as I can, for sure. She is an angel with a lot more patience than I deserve, because I do I do push it so hard. But yeah, I mean, like the OnlyFans I made for the bit, the $100 to Pete to show his titties on stream 3-4 years ago for the bit, etc., etc., on and on and on. I take more Ruckert and Smart than Mason. I don't think that's smart though, because Mason looks like he's running ahead of both of those guys. When he missed a little bit of time with the high ankle sprain, he came back immediately, running back with the ones. He's been rested like the ones. The coaching staff really likes him. The draft capital was good. Ruckert and Smart are kind of bad. And they're more like blocking guys than they are pass catching guys. I think it's very contrarian DFS brain to do. And I guess it's viable if I thought this offense was going to pass more. But both those guys looked like tight end 2, tight end 3 for a team that run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And it seems like they are legitimately trying to like get Mason the ball. Mason at 195 is a very good click, even with bad pass volume, just because if he's the tight end 1, I mean, we saw Pat Freiermuth spike with Justin Fields and Arthur Smith last year. So I don't know. That feels a little too cute. Across most of the content. I'm not trying to take backup tight ends on bottom 5 pass efficiency or volume teams personally. You know, Fannin is like the closest I'm tempted to do that because of Flacco, and even then, it doesn't feel great. Charlie is down to his last best ball mania bullet. How are you going to attack this, buddy? Are you trying to attack all the late news? You're going to be a value hound and just try to build a late super team? You're trying to cover your bases? You're trying to boost your exposures? You're trying to hedge? What I need to know. I want to get in the mind of Charlie, top 3 best ball mania finisher in his 150th best ball mania bullet. What is the mindset? What's the goal? Or are you just like Zen? Are you going like full Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca, dark retreat room, play the room like I play it, clear minds, clear hearts, empty balls, can't lose. Hartnell asking a great question. How does my strategy pivot on drafters when it's cumulative weeks 1 through 17? I am a big proponent of fade injuries where they're going to be hampered or missing a bunch of time. I'd rather have like none of those guys than take them at the right price, because ultimately every week matters just as much as every other week. And so every score matters. Spike weeks matter. I want breakout league winners. Like finding the regular season league winners is probably how you win all the money. So you want those guys. Thin bets to matter in the final stretch, I'm less interested in. Slow to start rookies like Burden, who might not. Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. Okay. I heard bags and I thought my dog was was dragging bags down the hallway again. Oh man, no. Well, you scared the shit out of me. I thought the dog was dragging stuff down the hallway because he can do that. Auto smashing Ray here. So like Luther Burden, it could take him a few weeks or more to like really, after a slow start season, after Olamide, like if he breaks out big, awesome, cool, whatever. But like, I'm less into those guys that cost than guys that could just smash from the get-go. And on PPR, I want stronger roles. A.D. Mitchell's still kind of running with the 2s. This sucks. We'll take A.D. Mitchell. Let me finish the thought process here. So I'm fading injuries. I'm fading bad teams. I want more players from good teams. Like team environment matters so much more. More ability to score more often and more quantity matters. I am more interested at wide receiver 3s on top 5, top 10 offenses than I am in wide receiver 2 and 3s on bottom 5 offenses. I think elite quarterbacks are much more viable on this because they allow you more roster flexibility, and also just, it's easier to predict those scores. I think it's more important to try to find those like mid-tier guys that are big winners there. But like ultimately, I do try to get like more redraft mindset, and then roster construction is just really important to keep in mind, right? But I boost the elites, I boost the better offenses. I very much take into account fast start guys and easy schedules, like strength of schedules. I try to fade. I look at like projected pass and rush D, and like I'll break ties. Like Bijan right now should probably fall into the top 5 in my ranks because he's taken a huge hit to his offensive line, and that's a huge hit to his floor and ceiling for the full season. And so I think guys like CMC, Lamb, and Barkley belong over him immediately because of that. So I make big adjustments to like health stuff and quality of team stuff for sure, and then roll. Because like the texture of your team matters too. It needs to be spiking every week all the time, and it needs to outscore everybody. Yeah, go get your guys. Yeah, when in doubt, go get your guys. You want your last draft to be you packing your bags on guys you like, I think, more than anything. Jose, welcome to the chat. I need to cut a player to catch a defense. Jennings, Pearsall, Mason. Is that Jordan Mason? Ollie Gordon, but I have Achane. What do I do, chat? Help. Well, don't cut. Like you have until Sunday. You have until Sunday morning, right before an hour before, 30 minutes before, 15 minutes. Wait till Jay Glazer's Sunday morning report before you grab a defense. It does not matter. In fact, you could even wait till the afternoon games and the night game. You have Sunday night and Monday Night Football to grab a defense. Defense does not matter in fantasy. So don't panic. You can wait till the very last minute and hoard all those guys for like week 1. Someone's going to get hurt week 1. We don't know who it is, right? So like, I think those are the only guys you can cut. Your roster is really good. Fuck. It's probably, if Achane is healthy, it's probably Ollie Gordon, right? Handcuffing yourself. Wright's going to miss time. It's an RB2, but if you need to cut one of those guys, it's probably Ollie Gordon because you have Achane. If Achane goes down, you're kind of fucked. But I think you take that right up until game time, because if Achane is out or Jennings is out, they go to IR. You don't got to cut anybody. So like take it up right until you get Sunday morning news, Jose, and then it's probably one of Mason or Ollie. It's probably Ollie. Before you cut a guy though, see if you can trade. See if someone will trade you. Trade one of those guys for like one of the top 5 defenses, like for Denver, or one of those. Or trade Ollie or Mason to like Addison or Rice drafter. Put that guy in your IR. Grab a defense. Big brain hours, Jose. Think about it, man. Think about it. Jelani got cut, my dog. Jelani sucks. The team has been glazing Mason since they drafted him. I think they like him a lot. I'm very inclined to think Jelani is just like, I think one of Stone, Smart, or Rucker gets cut, or they just want like practice squad depth. Yeah, she's big time over. Emo Reverse Cowboy was the nail in the coffin. Not a problem. I think a lot of people play Hartnell. I think a lot of people play this poorly. And if you just fade the injuries, you fade the really, really bad teams outside of like maybe like the one guy, like Chuba Hubbard, bad team, but like great breakout, cheap price, but he got all the work. Like one guy volume on a bad team can work out. I try not to take multiple guys from bad teams on a regular basis. And then we'll just do a scroll down for ownership leverage and take an upside shot. Again, wide receiver 3 or 2 on a top 5 offense and Noah Brown, I'd rather do, especially when they're not drafted as much and drafted as often. So our final team here in the final stream for this fantasy football stream, close us out for Hot Best Ball Summer, 3692, Dak, Jared Goff, Cam Ward at quarterback, running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, Will Shipley, DJ Giddens, and then a receiver, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers, Quentin Johnson, Ray McLeod, A.D. Mitchell, Noah Brown, and then at tight end, McBride and Njoku. It is PPR. It is full season points. If you have not signed up, use code SANCTUARY here on Drafters for up to $100 deposit bonus match. The main event draft is only 73% full, $500,000 to first. Do not miss the overlay. It will not fill. It has not filled for 3 years in a row, despite their best efforts with all the promos. Drafters is a phenomenal platform to play fantasy football on. It's a lot of fun. The UI is awesome. The mobile app is awesome. The chat feature is a lot of fun when you're tilting a guy or watching a guy crash out in chat. Some of the best promos in the best ball space. Really good customer service over on Twitter. So really great fantasy football site. Don't miss out. It'll be a fun sweat full season, man. League winners, that's what you need. Jose, he says his other players are Egbuka, Ted McMillan, and Tyler Warren. Yeah. So yeah, I think you gotta cut one of the backup running backs, or I'd say that's the advice. Take it into Sunday morning, wait for the news dump from like Jay and Schefter and Rapport. If Achane's healthy, Ollie's just a handcuff. If he's not healthy, he goes to IR. You don't have to cut anybody. But I would try to trade for someone on IR who then, like trade Pearsall or Jennings or Tyler Warren. Like trade one of your guys for an IR guy that can give you value right out the rip, so you don't cut and lose value, is what I would try to do before I cut a quality handcuff on Ollie or Mason, who's also got standalone value, if I could help it. Because that IR guy is also a trade piece, right? Like you're also getting to hoard a guy that you can have in trades and redraft. That's important. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us on Labor Day. Have a great day. Happy Labor Day to all. Leave a comment. Leave a like if you haven't already. Thank you so much for helping us as we get to 4,500 subscribers here on the Fantasy Sanctuary. We'll be live every week giving you Dynasty, Redraft, Best Ball, and DFS advice, rankings, and more. Become a member for just 99 cents a month. Join the Discord, get ranks, get start sits, get trade advice. It's a lot of awesome fun. Thank you so much, everybody. For reals, y'all have been awesome. This was a phenomenal summer. Go touch grass, go eat ass, go win your championships, and come back here every week. We're going to give you injury advice, waiver wire stashes, dynasty calculations, and trade targets, starts, sits, cuts. Welcome to the Fantasy Sanctuary. Charlie, jump in the Discord, get your ranks, get your vibes. It's a great time. We love you. Have a good one. Peace.